Once a year, the poker world gathers in the same place. And they come for the same main event reward, the bracelet. At the halfway point, Brooklyn amateur Manoj Viswanathan leads a field of under 400.
Donk with chips.
In this tournament, I have really nothing to lose. I'm on a huge life free roll.
Will he stumble like the previous chip leader?
Oh, you're saying you bluffed me on the river?
Or will he do what thousands could not? Whether you're an amateur,
You either have a hand or you don't have a hand.
pro,
I used to call my run good before the series.
or just kid poker with a dream.
We're like doing the duo, the comeback duo.
Here on day 5, you have a 1 in 378 chance of winning the main event. Welcome to the 2011 World Series of Poker, presented by Jack Link's Beef Jerky. We are halfway there. From a field of 6,865 players, just 378 remain.
Day 5, Rio. Let's do it.
Maybe the most important day of my whole poker career.
Ben Lamb with a confident walk.
When I walk like that, I'm trying to stay one step ahead of the creditors.
Feeling good. Focused.
Foreigners are having success, including Frenchman Guillaume Darcourt and German Max Heinzelmann.
I only got one move. I'm short stack, so it's going in.
This is the most fun I've ever had. I'm on a free roll in my mind. I'm playing with the house money.
See if I can do some damage before the end of the day.
Amanda Musumeci leads the 6 remaining women.
How'd they get back here? You guys see found their secret entrance. It's crazy.
Daniel Negreanu and Eric Lindgren can't hide in the back alley forever. They'll look to chip up here on day 5. The players are taking their seats. There is your day 5 chip leader, Manoj Viswanathan. The amateur from Brooklyn, New York, has seemingly won every pot he's played.
32-year-old lawyer in his first main event. Why shouldn't he win it all?
There's one of the biggest stories of the main event. Sam Barnhart currently in second place.
He's starting to have that Dennis Phillips look to him, Lon.
So Viswanathan and Barnhart, the 2 amateurs sitting 1-2, a couple of German pros in the mix, Peyus Heinz and our old friend Max Heinzelmann.
Sean Deebs at home with pocket aces, and Max Heinzelmann still here with ace-6 off.
For Viswanathan, some stats of caution. The best finish in the last 6 years for a day 5 chip leader was 25th place Greg Raymer back in 05.
Generally, when you play fast and aggressive, you know how to accumulate a lot of chips, but you also know how to deaccumulate them.
Everyone chasing that main event bracelet at the featured table. In seat 9, Jean-Robert Bellande.
Sometimes it's an excellent laydown, and sometimes it's an excellent main event for Jean-Robert.
But the headliner at this table, kid poker, Daniel Negreanu.
The last time he cashed in the main event was 5 years ago in 2006 when he finished 229th, looking for greener pastures this year.
And starting with a greener jacket, Daniel Negreanu under the gun with King Jack. And a raise to 22,000.
Oh, what was that?
That was Patrick Coughlin. Daniel is at a high point for his main event, 619,000 chips, folded over to Ralph Robinson, King 9 of spades.
Purple might be a new color for us. Robinson, an accountant, works for the Centers for Disease Control and Prevention in Atlanta.
And he makes a call of 22,000. Bellande folds his button. Mark Dallimore in the small blind.
Hell's Angels in town.
He folds. Robert Lipkin in the big blind lays it down. So 2 players, Negreanu with the stronger king.
Green versus purple. It's a colorful hand. Maybe Walt Disney is dealing.
Right here at the flop. Ace, trade 10, 2 spades. Daniel with a Broadway draw.
Daniel has struggled and grinded through this main event, never with too many chips, but he is thrilled to be here on day 5 with 60 big blinds.
Daniel putting some chips together, and he will bet 28,000. Robinson picked up the nut flush draw.
He cashed at a no-limit event earlier at this World Series, 58th in a field of 2,500. Of course, we started with 68-65 at this main event.
Robinson, not going anywhere, makes the call. Turn card, deuce of clubs. That misses both. Daniel nearly a 3-1 advantage now, and he checks. Robinson.
Oh, I like this. The 44-year-old amateur taking it to the 36-year-old superstar.
Yeah, there's a semi-bluff, 53,000. Daniel with a furrowed brow, and he lays his hand down.
Negreanu had nothing, and he gives Robinson credit for something. We give him credit for a bluff.
Daniel invested 50 grand before folding to Robinson.
Daniel left in a purple haze.
But still with the second biggest stack at this table.
You know, the emotional swings of a guy watching the hand, it's like,
I like Daniel so much, and so I'm kind of anti-sweating him. It's like I'm anti-sweating him. And then
at the same token.
And at the same time, as soon as you lose the pot, I feel so terrible because I want to compete with you throughout, you know?
There will be no shortage of entertainment at our feature table tonight, but at some point, Norman, the levity must give way to the gravity of the event. With the field whittled down to fewer than 400, the players must focus on accumulating chips and equipping themselves for a shot at one of the 9 treasured seats at the final table.
What, you can't whistle while you work? You can't check raise with a smile? At our feature table tonight, 2 players who talk a good game, Daniel Negreanu and Jean-Robert Bellande, but that should not mask their steely determination to make a deep run. Either one would gladly not say another word if it guaranteed a final table seat, though something tells me if Daniel and Jean-Robert make the November 9, a single set of ears wouldn't be able to handle all the verbal commotion.
Well, Daniel with very little to smile about during this main event until his chip stack began growing recently. On the Jack Link's Beef Jerky Hole Cam, Daniel with Queen 10.
I've never liked Queen 10 off.
Daniel in the small blind has chips in hand. And he raises it up to 29,000 to the big blind. Rupert Elder, a 24-year-old poker pro from the UK with pocket 9s, and he makes the call.
He was the EPT champion at this year's San Remo event, defeated his friend and our friend, Max Heinzelman.
So the blind leading the blind to the flop. 5, 9, 6. Elder finds another 9 for a set.
Daniel's got Queen 10.
No piece of that flop. Daniel does bet 36,000.
Continuation bet from Daniel. He couldn't beat the purple golf shirt, so now he'll see if he can outmaneuver the white sweater, but the white sweater has him crushed.
So far, the green jacket not working well for Daniel Negreanu. A smooth call from Elder.
You know, a white sweater pretty much goes with anything, Ron.
Especially the air conditioning here. The jack gives Daniel an open-ended straight draw. And now 57,000 from Kid Poker.
Daniel's bluff turns into a semi-bluff, but according to my rank of hands, a semi-bluff does not beat a set of 9s.
Just a call from Elder.
He's got Daniel right where he wants him.
Another 5 on the river, and Elder fills up. But Daniel once again looking at his chip stack.
Yeah, it's gone from a bluff to a semi-bluff to what appears to be a full-scale bluffing mini blow-up for Daniel.
Negreanu continuing his line, a big stack of orange. That's 97,000. That's going to leave a mark.
Well, Daniel couldn't win it unless he bet at it, but he couldn't win it if he put Warren Buffett into this pot.
Elder with 9s full of 5s.
Elder knows only 2 hands can beat him, jacks full or quad 5s.
Elder, that's more than 97. That's a raise to 240, and Daniel quickly releases his hand.
He tosses in that Queen 10 like it was toxic.
So a nice pot for Rupert Elder, who now has the second biggest stack at this featured table. That one stung Negreanu as he gives up about 40% of his chips. You see there with his chip count, Daniel had a better than average chip stack a few minutes ago. Now he's more than 200,000 below that benchmark. 370 players remaining to the outer tables in the white hat. Kyle Johnson with pocket 10s and 2 all-ins in front of him. John Moore on the left just shoved with pocket queens. After Mars Callahan in black did likewise with aces, Johnson has them both covered.
Johnson stuck in the middle with the worst pocket pair. He's a 22-year-old Canadian semi-pro.
And certainly struggling with this decision.
Callahan's a Hollywood guy, writer, producer, director. Actually, he was a child actor. Now he's a child adult. I believe Mars makes faces when he has pocket aces.
Johnson knows this is a big moment. He does fold, which leaves Callahan at risk with aces.
Can we turn him over now?
Yes, thank you.
It's so sick.
Aces against queens. Callahan ahead, but at risk.
All in.
John Moore's pocket queens run into Mars. Aces with faces.
The flop, 6-8-6. The aces are holding up so far.
Yeah. Cool. Just give me a queen one time, Chris.
Never again for the rest of your life?
Just
the third card. It's paint, but a king.
A little excitement with that card there. Saw his heart jump.
Only a queen knocks out Mars Callahan.
The river card, the 5 of hearts.
Backwards.
Callahan survives. It's nice when aces do their job.
Still alive, boys. The old junkie's still alive.
He's the director of the 2002 film Pool Hall Junkies and the upcoming Poker Junkies.
And up for the day is Mars Callahan. But a hit to John Moore down to 214,000.
Don't get me over 500 because I'll be dangerous. Don't get me over 500.
Welcome back to Las Vegas and to Rio for Day 5 coverage of the World Series of Poker Main Event. Things get more serious with every passing level of this main event, and on everyone's list, of course, is making the final table. To the outer table of Max Heinzelman in the yellow and black shirt as his two pair 8s and 5s, trying to knock out Nathan Goldstein, who has just a pair of 5s, and he's looking for a 9 to fall on the river.
I believe Max Heinzelman came straight from a Lion King audition to play poker today.
All right, the river card. 10 of diamonds, and Goldstein will look for an exit or a cash game in the next room. He's done.
You ever miss a flop? You ever miss a flop?
Running pretty good.
There you go.
Honest answer. No, I never miss a flop. I'm Max Heinzelman. When he crippled Sean Deeb, I told you he was going to win the main event.
Heinzelman working his way towards 2 million chips right now. Goldstein from Rosemont, Pennsylvania, earns over $35,000 for his second career World Series cash. As we head over to our secondary featured table, a look at those chip counts. Manoj Viswanathan has a firm lead on the other 8 players. Second best here, though, comes up about 500,000 short. Pull it over to Scott Schwalik with Queen 9 off.
He's a 24-year-old poker pro with a finance degree from Wright State University.
Lives in Beaver Creek, Ohio, 24-year-old. And he's going to raise it up to 23,000. The blinds at 5 and 10,000. Now to Manoj Viswanathan, Queen 5 of clubs.
He's our MIT grad / lawyer. You know, you become the chip leader by treating Queen 5 suited like they're pocket kings.
Well, speaking of kings, a very organized Swiss player, Stefan Huber, has those pocket kings.
And unfortunately for Viswanathan, Queen 5 suited is Queen 5 suited, and pocket kings are pocket kings.
And word of Manoj's style of play has been no secret in the Amazon room. A call from Huber and his kings.
Huber will try to trap the lawyer. I like that concept.
Schwalik folded, so heads up, a big stack and a real hand. Jack 4-6-1 club. Huber's kings are unthreatened, and he checks.
He will slow play his kings.
He knows Viswanathan will often VPIP.
Manoj majored in VPIP at MIT.
And here he goes with a backhand bet of 120,000.
Well, this is what got Viswanathan here, and this is what likely will take Viswanathan away from here. You start to think you're invincible, and usually the cards catch up to you.
Norman, it looks like Huber's using the installment plan to make this call.
There's a lot of one-armed bandits at this main event.
All right, now the 120 is in from Huber, and these two will see a turn card.
I still like the hat.
Turn card now. 9 of clubs. Huber's still good, but his opponent just picked up a flush draw, and Huber checks again.
And picking up an actual draw has got to excite Manoj.
Absolutely. Looking down at his stack. And now, double-fisted. This is Manoj's MO, a bet of 250,000.
Manoj is like a trial lawyer trying to make a closing argument, but I think Huber ain't buying it.
Huber, 4-1 advantage with the kings. And here he comes with those yellows.
And more one-arm chip maneuvering a la Patrick Poirier.
Again, the installment call here from Stefan Huber.
Boy, Huber might be slow playing these kings into oblivion.
All right, so 250,000 from each player on the turn. The pot approaching 1 million. The river card. Deuce of hearts, a third heart on board, but Manoj was looking for a club.
Yeah, the flush got there. No one's got it.
Huber checks, and a check from Viswanathan.
9 first.
Yep, the kings are good for Huber.
Viswanathan bluffs off more than 20% of his stack, and the 25-year-old Swiss pro is grateful.
He has now more than 1.3 million chips.
It might take him another orbit to get his chips realigned.
Well, this full-time student from Switzerland just took the chip leader to school. Let's check in with bracelet winner Antonio Esfandiari for some pro analysis on that last hand.
In this hand, Viswanathan decides to 3-bet the original raiser. Huber in the big blind wakes up with 2 kings and decides to only call. This is a very crazy slow play because he doesn't have position with 2 kings. Personally, if I slow play 2 kings, I'm always going to have position. And the reason for that is because I want to be able to control the size of the pot. You can't do that out of position. It ends up working out for Huber In the end, he makes maximum value, but he took a big risk doing so. And sometimes that risk is not worth the reward. In this case, it worked out.
Thank you.
Huber won a big event in the Bahamas earlier this year. It was worth over $300,000 to him. He is certainly on a nice roll here at the main event. The current bust-out paycheck is up to more than $35,000. Fewer than 40 poker tables in play right now. At an outer table, poker pro Brian Devonshire hoping his pocket tens are strong enough to beat the ace-king suited of Timothy Adams, who's all in pre-flop.
We play rock, paper, scissors instead or something.
Devonshire, a 29-year-old Las Vegas pro. He was a former whitewater rafting guide. We both applied for that same position. He got it.
The flop is 7, 6, 8, 2 spades.
Wow. You must have been fired by Full Tilt Poker or something. Online flop.
It's an online flop live, and it's still a race.
Turn card 2 of clubs. The man they call Devo still good with his pocket tens.
Devo trying to dodge 14 outs.
The river card, is one of those outs. Adams spikes an ace to double up through Devonshire.
Adams, a 25-year-old Canadian pro, now healthy with over 100 big blinds.
He waited until the last moment to ensure his survival. Devo was safe through the flop and turn, but the former rafting guide found trouble on the river.
I came here prepared to take one hit. So if it happens, good luck to you.
Well, that was a year ago. Jean-Robert Bellande on the verge of a monster stack, stung by the River King. He finished 78th last year in the main event, and he's poised for another deep run here.
Who is this guy?
I told you, Patrick Coughlin. Both he and Hayden Fortini know purple is the new black. Ace-8 off of Fortini from Fort Lauderdale, a raise to $23,000. Robinson knows about purple. To Bellande now. And Jean-Robert with the Jack Links beef jerky wildcard hand, Norman.
I'm feeling purple.
And from the big blind, he calls.
He's in the big blind, like I know. B, Jack 10 suited.
The flop is trade 10-4. Bellande checks to the razor. Fortini checks to the checker.
We learned nothing there. It's like my entire sophomore year in high school.
8 of spades on the turn.
If Jean-Robert had tens, I think he would have bet them on the flop.
He checks again. Fortini picked up a pair of 8s.
He's a Florida poker pro instructor at Deep Stacks University, where I believe Mike Matiso is a provost.
He says enough checking, $27,000.
Fortini likes second pair top kicker.
Bellande with a check raise to $85,000.
I don't think he check raised the turn on a draw or with pocket fives, and I still think he would have bet with a pair of tens on the flop. Actually, maybe he has 10-4 in slow play 2 pair. Did he really call pre-flop with 10-4 suited? He was in the big blind.
A call for $58,000 from Fortini with second pair. River card, 7 of diamonds. That's no help to Fortini.
I originally had Jean-Robert on Jack 10, but that just doesn't add up to me.
He checked the flop, check raised the turn. And now he bets $120,000.
I guess he slow played 10s and 4s, or it's some bizarre Byzantine bluff. Yeah, Byzantine.
So to Fortini now, who looks a bit confused.
Yeah, look, he's trying to get his body in sync with his mind and figure the whole thing out. I don't know what Jean-Robert has.
Fortini would need more than half his stack to make this call.
I call.
But he does call. Jean-Robert shows 10-4 for 2 pair, winning the Jack Links beef jerky wild card hand.
Do I get half credit for finally getting it right down the stretch?
Half it is.
Tough blind to steal, boys. Good luck. My big blind.
I'll take the 10-4 suited.
Is that the lesson from that hand, Bobby?
I'm just telling. I'm stubborn.
You know what? I'm gonna go heads up receive position
stubborn.
versus 10-4 suited.
I'll call a 3-bet all in with King Jack.
Hockey, my skills. What can I say?
I'll call a raise with 10-4 in the big blind. Good luck, Trent. I got chips.
Not complaining.
This looks very good, thank you.
We cool.
The range is wide, he's saying.
The way I figure it is, the good thing about playing hands like 10-4 is if you flop 2 pair, how will they know? You know what I mean? How are they going to put you on that?
And all you got to do is flop 2 pair, because that happens all the time.
This is what I've been doing wrong all these years.
As we swing away from the featured table, take a look at the chip count of Patrick Poirier, the one-time chip leader, down to almost 300,000. On the outer tables, we find Daniel Ritalik with just an open-ended straight draw, trailing the pair of queens held by Amanda Musumeci. After the turn, Ritalik, who sits with $1.7 million, bets $151,000.
You see that Amanda's coffee cup top is off. The chance for a spill matches her hand percentage.
Amanda started the hand with $1.2 million, and she's going to make this call.
Retallick, a 23-year-old pro from Morrisville, Pennsylvania.
Musumeci ahead, going to the river, another jack. So Musumeci's queens up are best. Retallick checks.
He misses and gives up.
And Amanda checks back and shows the best hand. Retallick opts not to show, but he'll have to give away his chips.
Amanda got the better of Kevin Saul, you may recall, on day 3. And the 26-year-old pro has kept her chips since.
Amanda with almost $800,000 in online winnings. This will be her 4th cash of this year's World Series, and it will be her biggest of the summer. Let's get back to the featured table.
Yeah, I asked him, I just make a policy never to listen to players, only the director or the dealer.
No, that's fine. Well,
you know,
he told you that.
I mean, a great player told me never to listen to players, so I've never had.
Yeah.
Is it good advice or bad advice?
No, it's fine. Yeah, I'm just saying he agreed.
If a player told you that, then how do you know to trust him?
That's true. You shouldn't have listened to the player who told you not to listen to the player.
Exactly.
He's the one that's messing with your head.
And he's a great player.
That was good. That's like one of those riddles.
Yeah, it's a paradox.
Like if there's
Great is relative. Who's this great player?
Bill Hellmuth Jr.
And several of my poker playing friends, every one of them agree. So,
Well, once again,
is it good advice or bad advice?
Is it
Talked and folded over to Rupert Elder with Queen Jack of Spades, a raise to $20,000.
altercations? I'm telling
Who
you,
is this guy? I'm mesmerized.
I think he's a BG.
That's the floor, man. This is like a regular thing, I guess.
Pocket sevens for Fortini.
All in.
He's short stack, known as Nipsum, online on all-in raise to $95,000.
Oh, yeah, that
was a fail.
Fortini down to under 10 big blinds.
Back to Elder now.
I call.
He makes the call.
He's been called with Queen High. He has 7-7 high.
Thank you, Daniel. Elder and Fortini truly in a coin flip for all of Fortini's chips.
What, are they going to take out a coin?
It's just an expression. All right, here's the flop. And there's a queen for Elder to push Fortini to the brink.
Elder in great position to knock out the 21-year-old.
You should not listen to any of the players except me.
He's been on TV. What do you lie?
Turn card. 9 of spades is no help to Fortini.
Fortini's got to hit a 2-outer or he's gone.
The river card is another 5, and Elder's 2-pair outflanks Fortini's 2-pair, and Hayden gone from this main event. Elder up to $860,000.
Can we get a fish with a lot of chips right here? A fish with a lot of chips right here, please.
Fortini earns over $35,000.
Ah, he was a kid with a dream.
His second and biggest career World Series cash.
I'm all in. I call.
Oh, yeah.
That was a fail.
I'm getting in.
I like him.
Welcome back to the World Series of Poker main event presented by Jack Link's Beef Jerky. And you see Eric Lindgren extending his first main event cash.
Lindgren running good this year. First marriage, first main event cash.
To Douglas Gord, whose queens are trying to knock out the 10s of Mars Callahan.
I haven't used my one time yet. I have not used the one time
The good thing
yet.
for you is everything's held up.
This is it.
I guess this is the time.
One time.
He needs it. Callahan way behind. The turn card is a 10, and Callahan turns trips.
A disgusted Gord. He's going to need a queen now to knock out Mars Callahan.
And now the river card is the 5 of clubs, and Callahan's main event run will continue.
Acting like a little kid who just used his one time.
Gord knocked down to $120,000.
Need a sprint there. Get below 3.
I hit a 10 on. I hit trips on that turn.
I love it. That is so cool.
Oh my God.
So this Hollywood amateur will stick around here on day 5, though he's lucky just to have made it to day 1.
My name is Mars Callahan, and I'm a writer-director. I was nominated for an ESPY in 2003 for a movie called Pool Hall Junkies. It's a great dream come true situation. About 9 years ago, I had a big, huge tumor in my kidney. They gave me 2 weeks to live. In life, you know, sometimes the flop can be pretty brutal. But they didn't wait for the turn in the river yet. They didn't read the book on Mars Callahan. I spent 3 years in and out of ICU and 5 years in a wheelchair. I've only been walking for about 3 years now. And so I came back, and now I'm here. And we're doing pretty good.
Pool Hall Junkies is fun to watch. Chaz Palminteri, Christopher Walken, Rod Steiger, Rick Schroeder, and it stars Mars as a pool hustler.
Short stack no longer. Callahan with 657,000 chips. Nearby, Elia Lesser with pocket eights. Re-raised Kenny Shee all in. Shee in a cow hat called with ace-jack offsuit.
I tell you, any movie Elia Lesra is in, I'd go see.
Absolutely. Here's the flop. It is 7-8 deuce, a set for Lesra.
You need a 9 or 10 to
I
do
need a
this.
9.
She needs runner.
Just put a deuce and get it over with, huh?
Turn card is a 10. Shee with a little hope.
Give me a 9, please.
Never easy. 4 outs.
And the river card. And look at that. Shee hits the runner.
Wow.
He'll double up with a straight.
I know they always give you a sweat, so.
Oh, yeah.
He didn't even see those outs. He announced them.
Oh my God, that's sick. I've been running really good this summer though.
Wow.
Oh man.
She went from 2% on the flop to 9% on the turn to 100% still in the main event.
And almost 600,000 chips. So Kenny Shee will stick around. At another table, our Brooklyn buddy, Nachman Berlin, is all in for 351,000 with ace-king of hearts. Peter Feldman leads with pocket queens and hoping he can soon own Berlin's stack.
Berlin wants to capture his bust out on his phone. If it's an HD, we can use it.
Where do I get the payout?
Has Nachman Berlin already given up?
Let me grab my jacket.
Boy, he knows all the get your affairs in order all-in trick.
So it will be Peter Nordberg Feldman versus Nachman Amarillo Slim Berlin.
I got hearts too.
Berlin at risk. No ace, no king, no heart.
Oh my God, no sign of any help. Oh no, if you don't get on the flop, it never comes in the turn.
Never.
Ever, not once.
Never, ever, not once.
Game, guys.
Turn card. Queen gives Feldman a set.
Am I drawing dead?
Berlin has a Broadway draw.
Oh, I have outs? Some outs? Just a jack? I never get that lucky. It's a pleasure playing with you guys.
The river is a blank and Feldman prevails. Nachman Berlin, just a main event memory.
Why?
What a sweat for Feldman.
I wonder if he was trying to trap Feldman with the ace king.
Berlin had a productive World Series, a second place finish, and this cash. Peter Feldman over 1.3 million. Beware of this guy when he has chips.
Nordberg always seems focused.
One race for everything. For the whole thing. For everything.
It was for everything or 315th place?
Trap him? I just busted. Ace king versus queens.
Ace king versus queens, what'd you have?
What difference does it make, really?
I want to know.
I had the ace king of hearts.
And to add a little salt to the wound, he runs into his feature table nemesis, Dwayne Alexander. Well, the big wheel keeps on turning, and somehow the main event will manage to carry on without Nachman Berlin. The largest 8-game mixed tournament in history was won by John Manette, who took down the $2,500 buy-in event and nearly $280,000 in prize money.
It's a goal of all poker players, and to finally accomplish it, it feels really good.
And in the $5,000 no-limit hold'em shootout, it was Canadian Mark Radoja who won the bracelet. He hails from Guelph, Canada, home to fellow bracelet winner Gavin Smith, as well as accomplished pros Mike Timex McDonald and Stephen Paul Ambrose. Radoja picked up close to $500,000 for his win, but the top 8 at the main event will double that, a staggering first place prize of $8.7 million on the line for our remaining 301 players. The current payout is still $35,000 plus, and the chip leader right now is German Max Heinzelmann. All right, let's get back to the featured table, and this was a tough table. It just got tougher. In seed 1 is 5-time bracelet winner Alan Cunningham.
This is his 4th main event cash in 6 years.
Alan joins the table with a below-average chip stack. Action is folded to Jean-Robert Bellande. Queen 4 of spades, a raise to $24,000.
All Jean-Robert needs to do with that type of hand is flop 2 pair, and no one will put him on queen 4.
To Chicago poker pro Robert Lipkin in the small blind. His king-queen is worthy of a call. Negreanu folds, so heads up Lipkin has Bellande dominated.
Lipkin learned to play poker as a kid in friends' basements. That's what basements are for.
All right, here's the flop now. 9 Jack King, top pair and a gut shot for Lipkin, who is the short stack at this table. Lipkin checks. Bellande with the same gut shot, checks as well. Turn card is a 10. Both hit their king high straight. Bellande has also added a flush draw. Lipkin.
This is his third main event cash in 5 years. That's hard to do.
The best he can do here is chop the pot. He bets 36,000.
Jean-Robert earlier turned 10-4 into gold. Now he's turned queen-4 into half a gold, maybe all gold.
And here's a raise of 100,000 more.
They both have the same straight, but Bellande has a redraw to the flush.
Bellande with the biggest stack at this featured table going against the shortest stack.
I'm all in.
All in re-raise from Lipkin. 283,000 total.
How much more is that? I don't think I can lay my hand down.
Only ace-queen beats Jean-Robert, plus he still can make a flush. Of course he's calling here.
It's approximately how much?
40, 80, 120, 130, 140,
Bellande acting like he's beat.
I have to call.
Jean-Robert does call. Lipkin at risk. He shows his hand. Bellande turns over his.
You have to call. Looked like he had like a pair of 9s or something.
I thought it was going to set.
I thought it looked like he had ace-queen.
I'm pretty sure, he doesn't flop the ace-queen for you.
I don't think I've ever won in a free roll spot like this. World Series 2012? I've never won in a free roll spot with one come like this.
Jean-Robert not at risk, cannot lose it, somehow complaining.
But I never have. If this happens, this will be the first time. Maybe this is my year.
That's an excellent primo, and I love it. You're so due
maybe
now.
this is my year.
Lipkin's got to dodge a spade.
Oh, yes! Yes! Bellande gets there with the flush.
Maybe it is his year.
And Bellande knocks out Robert Lipkin.
Another bad fortune, ugly ending.
I knew the pre-moan was going to work. All that moaning worked.
Didn't work for Berlin, it worked for Bellande.
Yeah, give me one round for excessive celebration, please.
Lipkin 430th in 07, 337th in 09, 300th this year.
No, when it looked like he really wanted to re-raise me so ace-queen was within his range, you know?
Yeah, but he's going to do it.
Range.
Huh?
He's going to do it. He's never not through.
That's why.
As we near the big money, we've seen players begging for their one time. We found out whether the poker community approves of that practice.
One time,
Come on, one time on TV. Don't let me get beat up on TV.
I think it's okay to say one time all the time.
It's really never okay to say one time. It's especially never okay if you've ever won the main event or have ever had any success in poker to say one time. If you've ever won a tournament before, you can't say one time because you already had your one time.
Give you one, Tom.
It's definitely annoying when people are like, one time, like before they even look down at their hand, you're like, if somebody raises, somebody's all in, and then they're like, one time. That's not when you use your one time, you know?
This is my one time right now. One time.
It doesn't matter how many times you've gotten the one time, you're still going to ask for one time, so I never want to be that guy.
Just give me a queen one time, Chris.
I have not used that one time yet.
Take one time. Just one time, that's it.
Honestly, I don't think it's ever okay to say one time.
It's always okay to say one time. There's one time for every hand you play.
This is it.
I guess this is the time.
One time.
People use it saying one time too much, but you're caught in that moment, and you don't worry about the other million times you've asked for one time. You said it 20 minutes ago, but poker players have selective memories.
I used my one time 8 years ago, Lon, and somehow you showed up.
Your one time is never part of the wedding vows, though, right?
Good for you.
At the outer table, a matchup that draws a lot of attention. The aces of Omar Saeed against the kings of David Bach.
Saeed, a 35-year-old investment manager.
And there's a king on the flop. Saeed all but done.
I hope David Bach doesn't get penalized for excessive celebration.
Gunslinger about to put another notch in his belt, flopping a killer set. Saeed looking for help. Turn card, Jack of Hearts. Saeed adds a Broadway draw.
Bach under so much stress.
I use my one time here. Good time to use. I think I'll use it right now.
He needs a one time now. Ace or queen?
Oh, a wasted one time for Saeed. Bach with kings full will send Omar Saeed to the rail.
We've seen David Bach bust a couple of players now while getting massaged. It just doesn't seem right.
He is getting used to stacking his winnings as he knocks out the 35-year-old Canadian who's now living in New York. Saeed off to the payout cage will earn over $35,000. David Bach is now up to more than 2.3 million chips. He is now the overall tournament leader in the 2011 main event. Soon, Omar Saeed will be pleased to have secured his first main event cash, but for now, the sting of elimination is almost too much to bear. Welcome back to the 2011 main event. Earlier, we spoke to Jean-Robert Bellande about his big stack strategy.
A lot of people, when they have big stacks, end up losing a good chunk of it with playing silly mistakes, doubling short stacks up for no reason. And that includes myself in that. But when you're in big stack mode and you're playing every pot, if you just start to release every time somebody plays back at you, that's not going to work out either. So, every once in a while you do have to take a stand, and that's going to mean that your big stack's a little volatile.
Jean-Robert's day is volatile from the time he wakes up until the time he finds someplace to sleep. He is a reality show.
Folded to Daniel Negreanu with pocket jacks, and Norman, I almost trust pocket jacks with Daniel as their caretaker. He raises to 22,000.
I've got to meet this guy, Lon. Everybody else here looks like they're applying for a job at a Radio Shack, but this guy with the blazer is blazing.
Now Bellande.
I'll have a look. 10, 6 is... Oh. I almost said something about a hand. Oh my gosh. Shoot me.
One orbit, please.
Daniel was warned early in the main event about discussing his hand. He took issue with that. Here's the flop. Ace, ace, 4. Bellande said, I'll have a look, and then flops trips. And he's going to bet 30,000.
Daniel certainly might think his pocket jacks are still good.
So with the aces up and an 8-1 dog, he makes the call. Turn card is an 8 of clubs. Bellande's still way ahead. He checks. Daniel checks. River card. Queen of hearts. Bellande's trip aces are best. He's going to try to get more out of Daniel. 75,000.
Now there's so many things I want to say that I can't say because I'll get in trouble. So I'm just going to talk about the fact that I can't talk right now. I can't talk through this hand. I'd love to talk through this hand and try to figure out exactly what to do. But that right has been stripped. So I can just talk about nonsense and make no sense and just gibberish.
He can't disclose the contents of his hand. He can do other talking.
There's so much good stuff I'm actually saying in my head right now that they'd love to hear. It's so cool, but...
I am currently under the same restriction from ESPN. Jean-Robert's stutter step has confused Daniel. He checked the turn, then bet the river. And of course, the flush draw got there on the river.
Daniel gives up the jacks.
What?
I could hear it.
You could hear it in my head?
There are always voices in JR's head.
Well, whatever Daniel did not verbalize was wisdom we'll never hear, but it was correct to fold the pocket jacks, as it usually is. To an outer table, here's something you don't see every day. Heads up, and both players all in and at risk. With dead-even chip stacks are Mars Callahan and Lawrence Houghton. In the big blind, Callahan flopped 2 pair. Houghton with the nut flush draw.
They have the exact same stacks on day 5? That's a statistical improbability.
Turn card, 4 of spades, no help to Houghton.
Houghton, a 25-year-old British pro. He's got 6 World Series cashes up against the Hollywood director. One of these guys is not going to survive this hand. Houghton needs a diamond on the river, but it can't be the 2 of diamonds. Who's going to survive?
River card, the 6 of spades, and Callahan with a full house will be the one to survive. He doubles up. And Houghton knocked out of the 2011 main event.
And this Mars Callahan loves a big stage. He needs one.
Boy, he's getting his exercise today.
Over 1 million chips.
He's a poker junkie with chips.
Callahan working very hard not to collect an excessive celebration penalty. He is now in the game with a whole bunch of chips. While Lawrence Houghton will say his goodbyes, Callahan refusing to go away from this main event.
Thank you.
He sits with over 1 million and going strong. Back at the Rio, fewer than 300 players remaining. David Bach is the chip leader with 2.4 million. Let's go back to the table of the unstoppable Mars Callahan with king-queen suited. He and two others about to see the flop. Kyle Johnson on the left, leading with pocket nines, and there is Vasily Sapko with ace-queen. Here's the flop. It is king 7-8. Callahan hits top pair. Sapko with ace-queen missed it.
Well, Sapko keeps the top on his coffee cup, but he's willing to risk chips.
He does lead out, 135,000. Johnson and his pocket nines fold. Now to Callahan.
Callahan flopping top pair. Boy, the Mars Callahan variety hour continues. It does feel like Mars is on a free roll of sorts.
Callahan, over 1 million chips, has twice that of Sapko and more.
Any cocktails?
All in.
And Mars attacks.
And when he tucks that cap down, he's serious.
This would put Sapko all in, and Sapko will give it up.
And Sapko, I believe, is calling over an associate to whack Mars Callahan.
What did you start today with?
151,000.
That is true. More than a tenfold increase for Callahan playing fearless poker.
If Mars Callahan were smart, he'd make this into a movie.
Well, with almost 1.7 million chips, he's got gunslinger David Bach, the current chip leader, in his sights. At another table, Aussie Tony Hashem leads with pocket sixes and an open-ended straight flush draw.
I've been playing well, so I deserve it. I can't believe that call.
Some Hashem attitude, it runs in the family.
In the white, Tuan Vo called all in.
Can't believe the call.
We've seen Vo play fast and loose. He's at risk.
Okay, yes, yes.
Hashem hits a 6-high straight.
All right, come on. Nothing stupid, just a red card. A red card, please.
Give me more red card.
Please. Get your card. Yes!
Hashem wins it and eliminates Tuan Vo.
Can't believe that call, man.
Third time he's told him that. I expect him to send Vo a postcard that just says, "Can't believe you called."
I got about 700. What happened? Did you have a brain snap? Can't believe you called.
Can't believe you called, the Tony Hashem story. I can't believe Vo gets knocked out and has to listen to this.
Tuan Vo swallows the bitter pill and suffers the criticism and will take his leave. Hashem up to almost 1.3 million.
I talk a lot about winning with grace and losing with grace. I don't think we just saw grace.
As we get back to the featured table, you see the chip counts of 3 former chip leaders. The one that stands out, Patrick Poirier, under 100,000.
Tupper Lake drying up.
All right, at the featured table, Daniel Negreanu with 477,000 chips, still under the chip average, but it is 47 big blinds. Pull it over to the man in the electric blazer, Coughlin with pocket nines.
Now we get a good look at him. I'm told he's wearing the blazer because his mom is watching and he wants to look nice for her. That gets my seal of approval.
A 28-year-old from Los Angeles raises to 24,000. Folded around to Bellande. Bellande gives it up. Now to Cunningham with pocket deuces.
Allen is wearing that shirt because he bought it 3 months ago and can't find the receipt.
Cunningham on the button.
Nobody left in the main event field has more bracelets than Allen Cunningham, 5.
Cunningham calls with the deuces. Queen 10 for Negreanu in the big blind.
Queen 10 off.
24.
That's like a woman you know you shouldn't date.
He does make the call. He got a discount. So it'll be Coughlin and 2 former World Series Players of the Year.
I still think Coughlin's mom would like the haircut.
There's the flop. Deuce 9 king. Coughlin flops a set of 9s. Allen a set of deuces. A gut shot for Daniel. He checks.
Coughlin says when he made the money here, his table had a round of beers, and it was the best beer he's ever tasted.
Absolutely. With top set, he bets 38,000.
Allen's got to believe he has the best hand.
With bottom set, he does not.
Cunningham, of course, made the main event final table in 2006, the Jamie Gold year.
But Norman, if he keeps putting chips in with a 4% hand, he's not going to get back to that final table. Daniel folds. So heads up Coughlin and Cunningham. Turn card now. Is another deuce quads for Cunningham. How does he do it?
And poor Patrick Coughlin's just tasting a huge pot right now with 9s full.
And I imagine Norman, in his mind, he's hoping not to scare off Allen. He bets 95,000.
I'll tell you, Lon, Allen's got to believe he has the best hand.
You think? I think he's so smart he knew he was going to get the best hand. Just a call from the quad deuces.
Wow, what a blow in progress for Patrick Coughlin.
Yeah, you look at the percentages. Only the case 9 would save Coughlin from disaster, but it's a 10 of clubs, third club on board.
Coughlin all dressed up for his mom. He flopped the best hand, turned a full house. He doesn't deserve this. This Alan Cunningham is ruthless.
I'm all in.
And that's what Alan Cunningham was waiting for.
I call.
Show him the quads, Alan.
Cunningham double checks he has the nuts, and Coughlin is broadsided. Boy, he could never have seen that coming.
Alan Cunningham doubles up. Coughlin looks stupefied as he loses over 60% of his chips.
At least he still got chips, but that was brutal, brutal, brutal.
That's nuts.
Perhaps those quads could be Alan's launching pad towards another main event final table. Player of the Year. Millions in tournament winnings. Celebrity and stardom.
Number 1 fan. 111. Yeah.
Daniel Negreanu has accomplished everything in poker except his biggest and toughest goal, the main event.
A disappointing World Series for Daniel Negreanu is about to get more disappointing, and that will do it.
We've got some guys who are hometown heroes who just want to tell a story of I bluffed Daniel Negreanu. My job is to figure out who I'm up against and how they're going to perceive me.
Tonight it's put up or shut up for Kid Poker and his dwindling stack.
$210,000 for fun.
Oh no! Will he continue to climb poker's highest peak? Or fall short once again? Welcome back to Las Vegas and the World Series of Poker main event presented by Jack Link's Beef Jerky. The field is shrinking inside the Amazon room, and that means it's time to break down some more tables. We are under 280 players here on day 5.
My boy.
There you go.
Hi, Mom.
One-time chip leader Sam Barnhart's hunt for a title is still alive.
If he wins the main event, data analysts everywhere will high five.
2010 November 9er Joseph Chung is heading in the wrong direction.
If he makes back-to-back November 9s, I'm changing my name to Norman Chung.
Brian Devonshire doesn't have a giant stack, but it's getting there.
Known as Devo, he once was a rafting guide. He is now a chip stacker.
And there's amateur Manoj Viswanathan, who found the going tricky with a big stack.
With a little care and love, he can build that stack again, Lon.
David Buck now taking his turn at the top of the leaderboard after making quick work of Vanessa Russo. Payus Hines and Daryl Jace are second and third, and you saw Sam Barnhart earlier. He sits in fourth place. At our featured table right now, Daniel Negreanu with about half the average stack.
Yeah, did you see that yesterday when you tweeted about how, dang, you actually got a tough table draw?
Yeah.
And you said there's 4 really good players at the table.
You asked if you were one of them?
And I said, am I one of them? Am I one of them? Scaring the out of me, Daniel.
Daniel neither confirms or denies what Bellande is thinking.
On the Jack Link's Beef Jerky whole cam, Daniel with 7-5 off, he folds. Rupert Elder with Queen 10 raises to 26,000.
This table is stacked. Elder an EPT champion, Alan Cunningham, Daniel Negreanu. John Rivera might not be one of the 4 best players here.
Fold it over to Alan Cunningham, bracelet winner, golfer, cyclist, 9-8 of diamonds.
What a hand, Cunningham versus Patrick Coughlin. Set over set on the flop. Cunningham behind. Then Allen turns quads. Otherwise, he might be gone from the main event.
Insta-call.
And comedian with the insta-call remark.
Instantly.
All right, so 3 players will see the flop. 8, 10, 9. Add lucky to Allen's resume. 2 pair, and he checks.
Elder with an economics degree from the University of Warwick in the UK. The school's motto is mind over matter. What a cliche. You think they could do better? It's a pretty good school.
He bets 32,000 with top pair and a gut shot. Robinson now with an open-ended straight draw.
Well, this flop hit everybody, and maybe everybody is worried about it hitting everybody else.
Insta-fold.
Robinson's raise gets rid of Cunningham.
Legit insta-fold.
I had it planned.
Robinson, the amateur from Georgia, might be perceived as very tight. Cunningham wanted no part of it with 2 pair. And Elder is proceeding gingerly himself.
He makes the call with the pair of 10s and draw, which is the best hand. Heads up now to the turn. 6 of clubs, Elder's pair of 10s still ahead. And he checks. Robinson checks as well. River card, another 9. That would have been a boat for Allen.
Well, Allen should have had a plan to stick around and fill up.
But Rupert has the best hand with his 10s and 9s. And this UK pro checks. Robinson.
100.
He raised the flop, check the turn, bets 100,000 here.
Let's see if Robinson's image can buy him the pot. Not a big bet, but no insta-call from Elder. He is wary.
And that is a board to be wary of. Rupert Elder with a crying call.
Good call.
That's true.
Ace high.
The pro outplays the amateur, and the other pro wishes he didn't insta-fold.
So Robinson gives up some much-needed chips down to 210,000, and with that win at this featured table, Elder goes over $1 million.
Maybe I should have folded more slowly. I'm saying to the cameras.
Played that like a young Robert Varconi.
Commentators and pundits are quick to assign meaning to trends in poker. We've heard the year of the woman, the year of the amateur. Some called 2010 the year of redemption as once scorned pros made impressive comebacks. Norman, you're a commentator and a pundit. What is this the year of?
The year of the lamb would be the easy answer. But do I look like the kind of guy who takes the easy way out? I thought it might be the year of Tupper Lake, but it turned out to be more like the day of Tupper Lake. It's almost the year of the brat, but frankly, naming an entire year after Phil Hellmuth seems morally reprehensible. So I'm going to call 2011 potentially the year of some person I'd never seen before last month winning the main event. Actually, I guess that's just about every year.
The current payout up to almost $41,000, but everyone focused on the $8.7 million top prize.
Yeah, I don't know if you've heard all this stuff going
About
on.
what?
People just talking during hands and stuff, but it's kind of got blown out of proportion.
There has been some confusion on what players are allowed to say while they're in a hand. Manoj has let his chips do the talking, but recently a lot of those chips have said goodbye. He used to dominate this secondary featured table, but that title belongs to Canadian David Barter now. Viswanathan now in third, Stefan Huber in fourth.
Huber says his hobbies are music, reading, sports, and traveling, which are probably the top 4 most listed hobbies in the world. Sports, really? All of them?
Huber, the 25-year-old student from Switzerland, raised to $24,000 with 7-6 off over to Jody Howe.
Canadian amateur, didn't go to college, but attended the Center for Digital Imaging and Sound. I believe they are the Thundering Herd.
Pull it over to Blaze De Silva, an ESPN executive who works and lives in Chicago. Jack 9 off, and he folds. Fold it over to Ray Henson, 33-year-old pro who knows what it's like to go deep here at the main event.
Henson, nice guy, tough player, 12th in the 07 main event, and this is his 3rd main event cash in 5 years.
He's on the button, but he does have the short stack at this table. He makes the call. Now over to Viswanathan with King 5.
King 5 off in the big blind, definitely in Viswanathan's hand range.
4 players will see the flop. Huber's open raise didn't do much to thin the field. Here it is, tray 5 deuce. Henson flops a set of trays. Viswanathan with a pair of 5s. And he checks to the razor. Huber with a gut shot.
Oh. Huber's hobbies are music, reading, sports, traveling, and semi-bluffing.
And like clockwork, Huber makes a continuation bet of $45,000. Howe, drawing dead with 2 overcards, folds.
And Ray Henson's in a good mood at the moment.
And Henson with a raise to $123,000.
Any more stacks of orange sign out back there?
That's it. 167 behind.
Manoj might fall in love with top pair here, but what's he think the other 2 guys got? One is posturing, but one is holding the goods. Oh my goodness, I must pray for Manoj now.
He's got some of those green chips worth $25,000.
400.
Wow. Huber folds.
A call.
And a call from Henson, and it's set.
I've got to give Ray Henson props for getting all his money in as a 48-1 favorite.
This one, nothing. In danger of giving away even more chips here. Henson about to get healthier. Turn card now. King's up, keeps the hand alive for Viswanathan.
A little bit of a sweat, huh? What a sweat.
I like Manoj, but he doesn't deserve this one. It would be ugly if a king or a 5 knocked out Ray Henson.
The river card is a 6, and Henson will double up. Manoj Viswanathan stuck in an unfortunate charitable mood here on day 5.
Yeah, it certainly looks like Manoj Viswanathan is just leasing those chips for a while. I don't think he plans on keeping them.
Henson, the latest beneficiary of the former chip leader's trouble. Everything going wrong for the amateur here on day 5. A glimpse of the Vegas skyline as day 5 action continues inside the Rio. Tables continue to be removed as players are constantly eliminated at an outer table. Here, local pro Brian Devonshire is building quite the chip castle.
It's his Arc de Triomphe.
Maybe I'll ship it into the pot. I've done that before.
Luckily, he's got over 1 million chips to build it. To another table, 22-year-old Payus Hines has queens up and bet $147,000 into Mark Newhouse, who flopped a flush draw.
Hines, a German pro. Newhouse, a Las Vegas pro.
Newhouse originally checked the flop, now facing the German pro's bet. And Newhouse makes the call for $147,000. He won $1.5 million when he took down a 2006 WPT event. Turn card 9 of diamonds. Newhouse adds an open-ended straight draw, and he checks. Hines checks the best hand. River card is a third 4, the spade. Newhouse misses everything. Hines now with a full house. Newhouse putting chips together.
Looks like we've got another one-armed bluff in progress.
And Newhouse will bluff at it. $385,000.
How much? $385.
A quick call. Yeah, and Hines will take that pot.
Friendly bluff, friendly call, friendly concession. And oh, we've got a new chip leader, Lon.
You are right. Payus Hines now knocking on the door of 3 million chips.
Knocking on the door with a hoodie.
Big chunks of chips are changing hands rapidly here on day 5. Players realize they must keep making deposits to their stack or risk becoming a very vulnerable target. Let's get back to our featured table. Daniel Negreanu is a man who always has a target on his back, but now he is one of those with a short stack. He is very vulnerable indeed. Action folded over to Evan McNiff, 25-year-old poker pro who has the Jack Links Beef Jerky wildcard hand.
I'm not feeling it, Lon.
You got to bring it, Norman. He raised to $27,000.
McNiff in the hijack position. I'm going to hedge my bet, put him on a pocket pair, A or D, 3s or 8s.
All right, Jean-Robert Bellande in the small blind with 5-4 off.
$73,000.
Makes a re-raise to $73,000.
In the small blind, Jean-Robert footloose and fancy free with 5-4 off.
In the big blind, Cunningham folds ace-jack suited.
Cunningham with a nice hand, but doesn't want to mess around with the 3-bet in front of him. McNiff's online poker community is called Liquid Poker. I'm not allowed in. It's a gated poker community, I believe.
McNiff makes the call with his mystery hand.
A or D, pocket 3s or 8s, but I'm feeling shaky today.
All right, heads up to the flop. And it's 5, king, 7, 2 clubs. Bellande paired his 5. Jean-Robert started the hand with $1.4 million, bets $125,000.
Jean-Robert is going to show us how to play 5-4 off out of position. I'm going to keep McNiff on pocket 8s if he calls here. And I guess if he keeps playing, he could be on a flush draw, B or C, but I'm going to stick with pocket 8s. If he raises, I'll just call Antonio Esfandiari and ask him what McNiff has.
McNiff told us he loves adventure sports. When you're in a hand with Bellande, you are usually in for a thrill ride. He calls.
We know Jean-Robert has bottom pair, but I've got no feel for this guy.
Turn card, Jack of diamonds, does nothing for Bellande's hand. Jean-Robert checks.
Jean-Robert slows down.
McNiff thinking about it, but he checks as well.
I think McNiff would have bet pocket 8s there on the turn, no?
Well, there is an 8 of hearts on the river. Bellande left with his pair of 5s.
Well, no matter what Bellande puts McNiff on, I can't see him betting those 5s.
He does check.
And I'm waving the white flag on. This is a loss for me. I originally had McNiff on a pocket pair. I have absolutely no idea what he has.
$100,000 from McNiff now.
It's crying for a call. Jean-Robert getting more than 5-1 on his money to call.
With bottom pair.
I still don't know what McNiff has. I couldn't even tell you the color of his hair if you asked me.
Jean-Robert does call. McNiff Turns over C, ace-jack of clubs to win the Jack Links Beef Jerky wildcard hand.
I was wrong, but at least I didn't call that bet like Jean-Robert did. Full!
After that adventurous wildcard hand, McNiff up to about $1,350,000. Bellande now below $1.1 million. So that was not one of Jean-Robert's shining moments, but he did seem a little happier when one of our camera crews went to check out his home away from the poker table.
Morning, guys. Jean-Robert Bellande, come on in. 40 years old. This is my living quarters right now. Las Vegas, Nevada. I embrace the Vegas life. Absolutely love the life that I lead. Have a little steam shower before I go and grab a shave downstairs. Whether I have money or I don't have any money, I basically live the same lifestyle. I'm living the life of a millionaire. I've been broke a number of times, and you know, I've done well plenty of times, and I know that I'm always going to be all right. But we got to tighten this up. I'm starting to look a little sloppy. This is how Frank Sinatra and them did it back in the day. Good Las Vegas living life. Being spontaneous and always trying new things and having a great time, you know, that's basically what does it for me. I really don't know what I'm going to be doing tomorrow. I love the new adventures that my life takes me on. Absolutely, there's a part of me that wants to start a family and start somewhat a normal life. But for now, I love this spot and wouldn't trade it for anybody.
Jean-Robert's motto is broke but living like a millionaire. And indeed, Bellande and bankroll management seem to be mutually exclusive terms.
Rupert Elder raised under the gun with ace-queen. Jean-Robert calls with tens.
Jean-Robert lost $13,000 his very first night playing poker in LA, but thought he had a grip on the game. Then he says it took him another $200,000 in losses before he really figured it out.
Negreanu folds a big blind, so we are heads up. Rupert Elder with the ace-queen going up against Jean-Robert with pocket tens. All right, here's the flop. 4-8 queen, all hearts, top pair for Elder. Bellande picks up a flush draw.
Elder has a pet tortoise named Koopa. To be honest with you, I would have thought Jean-Robert had a pet tortoise named Koopa.
Elder won the EPT San Remo event this year. And here he bets 42,000. Bellande with a second nice main event run in a row. 78th place last year. He calls.
I always feel uncomfortable when Jean-Robert gets quiet.
All right, the turn card now is a 10. Bellande turns a set. Elder now drawing dead to a fouled deck, and he checks.
What a huge card for Bellande.
Jean-Robert bets 70,000.
And Rupert Elder has no idea what just hit him on the turn.
Each player started this hand with about even stacks. Elder has Bellande slightly covered. Elder makes the call. River card, 7 of spades. Elder checks.
Bellande now hoping to get max value out of his turn set.
Jean-Robert putting chips together. Elder trying to figure out exactly what Bellande's up to. That's 200,000, almost 2/3 the pot.
Our old friend Ace Queen is torturing Rupert Elder right now. You flop top pair, top kicker with it, and you're still eventually crushed.
Bellande trying to get Elder to call off some chips here on the river.
Cool.
Elder does make the call. Jean-Robert seems confused.
Did you call it fold? I thought you said fold. I'm sorry. Yeah.
And Bellande will take that pot.
Oh, Elder thought he had won the pot. He thought Jean-Robert was mucking.
I apologize, Rupert.
Yeah,
I heard you say Rupert. I would not do that. I'm sorry.
Jean-Robert up to almost $1.5 million now. Elder down below 800,000.
Got to redeem myself after making that call against him with a pair of fives.
Oh, yeah.
I called you with a pair of fives. That was so,
that was a bad.
so bad. Actually, not so bad. All the draws missed.
Bellande played that hand well and rakes a big pot.
Cool.
Did you call it fold? I thought you said fold. I'm sorry. Fold.
Welcome back to the Rio. Lon McCarron with Norman Chad. You know, Daniel Negreanu was never shy about voicing his opinion, and he now has a quick and effective way of sharing it.
Well, Twitter's like the newest form of sort of informing all your friends how you're doing. And I used to do it on a forum, but Twitter just makes it easy. I just tweet chip counts, and there's a lot of people who watch poker who are totally interested, so it makes total sense. I couldn't get Daniel Negreanu to fit, so I went with Kid Poker, but I couldn't get Kid Poker, so I wanted people to know this was the real Kid Poker, so I went with real Kid Poker. I've always been one that shoots from the hip, willing to say things that a lot of people say, just don't bother. I'm like, why? I'm more than willing to say something, and I will. And sometimes my mouth gets me into trouble, but I prefer just being genuine.
The problem with Twitter, it's a 24-hour-a-day instantaneous soapbox. I just think we all need to quiet down a little.
Daniel does have a big soapbox, too, over 120,000 followers. He is one of the shorter stacks at this feature table, and in the overall tournament, he's really hurting. Jacob Paisley has the healthiest stack at the feature table. Jean-Robert Bellande and Evan McNiff right behind him. Folded to Daniel with ace-king off.
I love listening to Daniel, but he weighs in on every topic. It's just too much.
He's going to raise it up to 28,000.
I like that blazer.
Purple is the new black, Norman. You have to get on board. Evan McNiff with pocket queens in the small blind.
McNiff owes me one. He just humiliated me more than usual on the Jack Link's wildcard hand.
Just a call with the queens.
On the other hand, if I had to do it over again, Lon, I would have proposed marriage to my current wife, Tony, via Twitter. It's just easier than talking to her.
All right, heads up, Negreanu and McNiff. The flop is 6 deuce 5. McNiff a 3-1 favorite with the pocket queens now, and he checks.
Everyone gets excited about ace-king, but it's just an ace and a king, and if it doesn't connect on the flop, it's still just an ace and a king.
Daniel bets 33,000 with an ace and a king.
McNiff, 25-year-old pro, lives in San Diego, used to be a competitive StarCraft player.
And there's the check raise to 66,000.
And the check raise on the flop usually announces a big hand. Daniel getting 5.5 to 1 on a call here, but look at that chip graphic. Daniel down under 20 big blinds. Does he want to commit to this hand with just ace high?
He really cannot afford to splash around just hoping, but he does make the call. All right, as they eye each other, turn card comes out, 10 of spades.
With Daniel calling the flop, if I'm McNiff, I might put him on pocket 3s or 4s, or maybe he played 5-4 suited, some type of small pair and a straight draw. See, if this were the wild card hand, Lon, I'd be wrong again.
McNiff now leads out, putting Daniel all in.
And now Daniel's got to fold. I know Daniel is frustrated. He was 11th at the 2001 main event, has never gotten this close again, and time is running short here.
I can say I don't even know so I can say I'm putting him on jacks. I can say that, right? Because it's about his hand, not mine. I just can't say I can't beat that.
Actually, according to the Jamie Gold rule, a player may not disclose the contents of live hands or read a hand that has not been tabled.
But I'm not allowed to say that, so I won't say that. I will not say that I can't beat jacks, because that would be against the rule. But I can say I think he has jacks.
Daniel really walking the tightrope.
So I guess I fold.
He lays it down.
McNiff played it well. There should be a Daniel Negreanu rule. He's never wrong, so let him say whatever he wants.
Well, McNiff over $1.5 million now. Daniel Negreanu left with just 15 big blinds here in the 2011 main event.
I can't say I got a pair. Can you beat a pair? I know I can't say that I have 2 6s now.
Yeah, there's always one.
Well, that has been the hot topic all around the Amazon room. Let's get over to our secondary featured table. Dave Barter made a min raise to 24,000 with queen 10 of diamonds. Folded over to the big blind, Manoj Viswanathan.
And Manoj can't resist 4 deuce from the big blind.
The only other big buy-in event he's played in happened in Costa Rica in the Latin American Poker Tour, where he cashed. Heads up now, he and the table chip leader, Barter. The flop is Jack Queen 7. Viswanathan with a flush draw. Barter with a pair of queens now.
Barter calls himself a semi-retired poker player at age 24. He's good friends with pro Olivier Bousquet.
Check to Barter. Barter then bet 33,000.
Manoj on the draw. Hitting some of these draws is what helped him to the chip lead, and then missing them has cost him the chip lead.
He does call with 4 spades to a flush. Barter's friends call him Compton. He was born in Compton, Quebec, Canada. 6 of clubs on the turn. Manoj misses.
But Manoj, considering his posturing options, I assume Manoj has a better legal sense than he does poker sense.
Boy, he sure adheres to the theory to win chips, you need to bet chips, and he's stacking up some orange now. That's 70,000.
What's he suddenly representing here?
70,000.
I think Barter is pretty comfortable in this spot with top pair.
Barter slowly puts out a call. Barter with the best hand. The queen's going to the river. The river card is another queen, and that gives Barter trips.
Okay, Viswanathan missed his draw, and if he bets here, he's representing self-destruction.
Manoj has not been shy about betting on the river when he's behind. But only you and me and all of America knows this is ill-timed. 150,000.
Manoj intent on taking the A train out of Las Vegas.
150,000.
I call.
Yeah, and a quick call from Barter. And Manoj gives up another chunk to an opponent.
I think that was a pretty easy call for David Barter.
Barter now with 2,150,000. Manoj under $1 million chips once again. All right, from our secondary table to an outer table, a couple of 23-year-old New Englanders tangling. Daryl Jace from Massachusetts flopped an 8-high straight. He raised Connecticut amateur Russell Thomas all in. Thomas called and is behind with a set of 5s.
Thomas is an actuary. He's actually an actuary.
The 6 gives Thomas 2 more outs.
Plus a 7 now with Chop the Pot. Thomas looking for help. Jace looking for the knockout and the chip lead.
The river card is a blank, and a crestfallen Russell Thomas sees an end to his main event.
And Daryl Jace is going to need a chip assistant.
With 3.1 million, he passes Payus Hines. We have a new chip leader in the house.
Well, if it was a fight, we'd stop it right about now, but they'll just continue it on. Thank God it's a poker game.
He was a chip leader on day 4, and Daryl Jace is back on top once again. No velvet ropes surround the main event. All are invited. Pay your 10 grand, play some cards, and maybe you could be here next year on day 5. It happened for Manoj Viswanathan, whose rich educational background led him to an analytical game he loves to play.
I went to MIT and I studied physics and chemical engineering. But then I went to law school and I gave it up. I think that law is a very analytical field, at least what I do. And poker is a very analytical game. This is my first main event, and I had very low expectations for how far I'd get.
It's a donk with chips.
My goal coming in, honestly, was just to have a good time, to have fun, to enjoy the experience. And so I booked my return flight for the end of day 2.
A little bit of a sweat, huh? A little sweat.
But now that I've made the money, my goal is to win. I can honestly say I don't think I've had any more fun in my life. This is the grand stage for the game of poker. And I can't hit a fastball at Yankee Stadium, I can't dunk a basketball, I can barely play cards. But the nature of the game is that I'm here, and it's just an amazing ride.
Manoj Viswanathan just articulated wonderfully why we love the main event line. Anybody can play, anybody can win.
After Ray Henson opened raised to 25,000 with 10-8 of diamonds, Viswanathan now calls with Queen-10 of clubs.
Oh, I don't know if Manoj can win if he keeps playing 4-deuce from the big blind, or Queen-10 for that matter.
Jody Howe with pocket 8s in the small blind.
He seems to have the weight of the world on his shoulders. This is his 5th World Series cash.
He started the day with 588,000. He's up slightly right now. He makes the call for 19,000 more. Blaze De Silva in the big blind with 7 tray.
I don't want any piece of Blaze De Silva.
So Howe with his pocket 8s, and Henson and Manoj with suited connectors. We'll see a flop.
Gotta root for Manoj.
Here is the flop. 5-deuce-9. Howe still best.
Howe looks like he just heard that a nuclear attack is pending.
He checks to the pre-flop razor, and there is Henson with no piece of that flop.
But it looks like Ray Henson is going to put on his Manoj Viswanathan hat and posture.
63,000. Will that slow down Manoj?
Well, Henson might have stolen Viswanathan's thunder and saved him chips. Manoj might have been thinking of posturing here if Henson had not, but actually he's not going anywhere.
Oh, he can posture after a posture. A raise to 150,000.
Wow, Manoj with a lot of panache.
And he's got the other two covered. Howe with the best hand. That's now in the muck. Henson folds, and Minoche takes another pot.
You can see why this is so much fun for Minoche. He knocks out the best hand, steals away the pot. Nice hat, nice play.
He starts rebuilding a stack that once upon a time crested the 2 million chip barrier. All right, we've got a big pot brewing on the outer tables. Matt Salzberg's set of sevens leads the pair of queens and nut flush draw of Paul Spitzberg after the turn. Matt checked his set to Paul, who then bet 425.
Spitzberg, a 65-year-old executive. Salzberg in the brown shirt, a 40-year-old executive producer of Weeds on Showtime.
And he makes the call of Spitzberg's bet.
The Salzbergs and the Spitzbergs have been feuding for centuries.
The river card. Salzberg rivers a full house as the 8 pairs the board. And he moves all in for $627,000.
Boy, ace-queen flop, top pair, top kicker with a nut flush draw, and he's dead.
And Spitzberg can't continue, and the feud gets a little hotter.
Good fold, big pot.
Salzberg now with a chip count of over 2 million. Spitzberg lost that one, but still left with 1.7 million. A tough fold for him, but it was the right one.
We'll see it on TV.
The lighted skylines of multiple cities can all be found side by side right here on Las Vegas Boulevard. As we head back inside the Rio, we check in on a couple of new faces to our 2011 coverage. Phil Collins there and Rich Leindacker.
Collins, a 26-year-old Las Vegas pro. Leindacker, a 25-year-old New York pro.
Leindacker all in with pocket kings, trying to double through Collins, holding ace-king. Jack 9-9, Collins still behind. Leindacker, kings up now.
Collins in a good mood. Leindacker at risk, but way ahead, not in such a good mood.
Turn card, 10 of diamonds. Leindacker still good, but Collins picks up a gut shot.
Leindacker in a similar spot we saw Russell Thomas in. He'll either have a big stack or he'll be gone.
The river is a queen. Collins with an ace-high straight. He used every street before finding Broadway to knock out Leindacker.
And Leindacker just sat there like he sensed doom. Another bad fortune, ugly ending.
Leindacker looks to be in shock. To grind for so many days, get it in as a huge favorite, and to get crushed is numbing.
And Phil Collins now with a lot of chips.
Indeed, Norman, 1.8 million. 225 players remain. The average stack, 915,000. Action on Jean-Robert Bellande. Bellande with ace-8 of hearts. Under the gun, he limps in for 12,000.
Jean-Robert open limps with ace-8 suited. Maybe there's a reason he's broke a lot.
Daniel Negreanu now. Negreanu folds his 8 tray. Rupert Elder with queen-jack.
Elder feeling the heat a bit. He's pulled his sweater sleeves up a little.
He limps as well to Evan McNiff with 9-8 on the button. He can play for only 12,000, so he limps. New player here, Panamanian pro Bolivar Palacios in the small blind with Jack Deuce.
Palacios getting a super discount here in the small blind. Just 6,000 chips into a pot of 72,000. He says, no, sir.
Let me see a flop.
Robinson checks his option, so 4 players will see the flop.
I want to see that hand.
That he folded?
That would have been like 8-3 offsuit, something.
I had an 8. No.
All right, here's the flop. Ace-10 king. Elder flops Broadway. Robinson checks. Bellande checks top pair. Elder checks the nuts, as does McNiff, drawing dead.
4 checks. Pinch me when there's action, Lon.
Another 10 on the turn. Robinson and Bellande check again. Elder can't love that paired board.
Well, Elder probably checked the flop because it was an unraised pot, so he didn't put players on big cards, but now he'll get busy.
32,000. That should reduce the population. McNiff and Robinson clear out. Now to Bellande with aces up.
Jean-Robert understandably might think his aces up are good right here.
Bellande, thinking about a lot of things, decides to raise to 65,000.
Bellande jumps into the trap with both feet.
He and Elder have had some skirmishes at this feature table. And with his made straight, Elder calls for 33,000 more.
Just a call? I would have blasted Jean-Robert clear to perump on that one. Repop it so he remembers your name.
Heads up to the river, 5 of clubs. Jean-Robert can't win unless he bets, but he checks. Rupert Elder looks like he wants more of Bellande's chips.
But what's Mr. Elder waiting for? A court order? Make a bet. Fire away. Maybe the club flush scares Elder now.
There he comes. Rupert Elder, the UK pro, bets 96,000. And Bellande gives up his hand, and Elder will take that fight.
Jean Robert, quiet in defeat.
It's my one fan.
Your what?
My one fan. Clapping away.
Go, Rupert! Go, Eugen!
Well, to hear some pro analysis on the merits of Rupert Elder's slow play, let's check in with bracelet winner Antonio Esfandiari.
This hand is a classic example of what can go wrong when you decide to slow play. 4 people saw the flop. Jean Robert had top pair. His opponent had the nuts. They all decided to check, all 4 of them. On the turn, when a 10 peels off, Jean Robert decided to check raise his opponent. This is a very interesting play. I personally would just check call. What happens on the river is a 3rd club comes out, which really slows down the action. Had Elder bet the nuts on the flop, I think he would have made a lot more money in the hand.
Bit of a bumpy ride for Elder today, once over $1 million, now sitting with 713,000. Folded to Daniel Negreanu on the Jack Link Speed Jerky hole, cam queen 9 suited.
As good as Daniel has been for as long as he's been, he's only won 1 bracelet in the last 7 years.
Yeah, a lot of top finishes, a lot of money at the World Series, but again, not as many bracelets as he had wanted.
I'm all in.
Pull it over to Robinson, who's all in with pocket jacks for his last 63,000.
Oh, that's so not good news.
You got to show this one.
Oh, how much is it?
63.
Robinson, the only player Daniel has covered at this table.
I just put myself in a dumb spot. I didn't think you'd move in. I totally forgot about you.
Daniel is priced in to call here, but it's for more than a quarter of his dwindling stack.
Well, yeah. 39. That's a lot of chips, bro. If I fold it here, boy, that would be the dumbest thing in the world. I don't think I can do it.
Daniel knows he's behind and knows he can't fold.
Just make sure. I'm probably, gonna, but I just want to make sure.
Take your time.
All right. This would be the stupidest laydown of all time.
Daniel does call.
I don't have aces, that's for sure.
I don't have aces either. The nuts.
Oh, I got a queen.
He's got a chance against the jacks.
I had 9-4 suited.
No. All right, good luck, bro.
You too, Daniel.
Robinson, a 2-1 favorite to stick around.
There's a jack. Oh, and a queen. That's good for him. It's good for him.
A jack for Robinson, a queen for Daniel.
Sorry, buddy.
All right. It was kind of good, but bad.
Turn card
No,
is the
that's
deuce.
it.
That settles matters. Negreanu drawing dead. Robinson doubles his small stack.
Robinson's still only with 13 big blinds, but he's in better shape now than Negreanu.
I need a whole lot of chips.
Exactly. He's the only one that could cost me more than I lost.
A costly blow to Daniel. Maybe not a big pot, but certainly a critical one for Robinson. Event number 30 at the Rio was the $1,000 Seniors No Limit Hold'em Tournament. Having just turned 50 in May, amateur James Hess barely qualified as a senior, but he did best the field of 3,752 players to win his first World Series of Poker bracelet.
Pretty surreal and unbelievable. Very, very excited, and you know what? All that hard work paid off.
Every year we talk about how the game is getting younger, and while the average age of the main event entrants has been about 37 the last couple of years, the final table has gotten remarkably younger.
My partner, Lon McCarran, played in this year's seniors event. Heck, you could have gone in years ago just on gray hair alone.
Hey, 4 players at the secondary table are about to see a flop. The pocket fours of Manoj led pre-flop, and they still lead. Howe checks. Schwalek was the only one to catch any piece of that flop as he paired his tray, and he checks.
I don't think Viswanathan knows what to do with a 52% hand.
He does check it. Huber checks as well.
4 checks. Pinch me when there's action, Lon.
Turn card 6 of clubs. Howe thinking about it. Manoj still has the best hand with the pocket fours. Checked over to Schwalek.
Now, somehow in a 4-way pot, the Viswanathan's pocket fours still good after the turn. Schwalek might take a stab here with a pair of 3s.
No, he does not.
Well, I wish Manoj would stop bouncing in a seat and make a winning bet.
He checks as well. I'm not pinching you just yet. Huber now, who added a flush draw.
No, I can't blame him here. Nobody wants it, and he's got the nut flush draw.
33,000 is the bet. Howe folds.
I think he should have bet a little bigger.
Schwalik folds his trays now to this one, nothing.
Manoj has the best hand, but he's got very little invested in this pot.
That has never stopped him before. He does make the call.
Yeah, not that many chips to call. Why wouldn't he see the river?
He can't abandon us now. I think he's got a prop bet on how many river cards he's going to see. 8 of clubs. Huber gets there with a flush. Manoj checks.
Huber's hobbies are music, reading, sports, traveling, and making runner nut flushes. Sorry, Manoj.
And now the Swiss Poker Pro student putting chips together, 169,000.
Almost a pot-sized bet. If Manoj doesn't make it to the end of day 5, and he might not, I will drive him to the airport. I feel for him. I miss him already.
Boy, you got to buy him lunch, too. Manoj thinking about calling this with his pocket fours. He does. A very charitable call once again.
Running good.
And Huber will take that pot as he now vaults over the 2 million chip mark.
Manoj.
He has been stuck in reverse on this day 5, and now he is way below chip average. All right, to the outer table of Poker Pro, Kevin Saul. He's all in pre-flop right there in the Yankee cap. He has ace-king. He has his opponent, Brian Youn's, ace-10 dominated. All right, here's the flop. Youn catches a 10. Saul does pick up a Broadway draw.
Saul's main event now suddenly in peril.
Turn card. Deuce of hearts. Youn with a flush draw, stealing a couple of outs.
Saul needs a non-heart ace, king, or queen, or Youn has a knockout.
The river card, the 8 of clubs, and Youn wins the pot, knocking out Kevin Saul.
31-year-old pro, WPT titleist. He had a big stack on day 3. Now Kevin Saul takes a bad beat, and all his chips are gone.
Indeed, he was one of the chip leaders on day 3. Out on day 5, earns over $47,000. Some tense moments at another table right on the break after Ben Lamb bet the flop. Tony Hashem thought about it for a while, and then Ben asked him, "You're going to fold, aren't you?"
You know what? I'll wait my time. You're going to learn to respect.
I'm not disrespecting you. I was just asking you a question.
Hashem hot and bothered.
Tough guy with all those chips, aren't you? Yeah, when you get back. You know what? I'll wait. I promise you I'll get my time.
And with a little attitude, Tony folds.
Lamb debating whether this would be a good time to show the bluff.
That's a promise. You should be embarrassed, dearie me. Because you got all those chips, you're being cocky. Good luck.
Well, Tony Hashem can't beat Lamb out of his chips, but he does leave with one on his shoulder. Back at the featured table with real kid poker, Daniel Negreanu. It has been a rough day for him. 619,000 to start, under 100K now as the day winds down.
Daniel on the downtick, Jean Robert on the uptick.
Folded to Daniel Negreanu right now. Daniel with pocket tens.
Let me count. 1, 2, 3. Yeah, I'm all in. All in.
Yeah, almost 6 big blinds. 95,000 all in. Next in line, Rupert Elder with ace-7 of diamonds.
Daniel so popular, he gets an ovation for going all in short stacked.
Cool. I have.
Elder makes the call.
Oh, boy. Okay, 95.
So Daniel at risk.
If he wasn't, I would have. I'm down. I can't turn this over, right? Yeah, you can.
All in.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, I had that beat.
Okay.
Okay, I have a pair of 10s. He has an ace and a 7.
Good.
I'm a favorite. 2-1 favorite.
Let's let Daniel call this entire hand.
Why not?
Okay, don't do it, man. I'd be really upset with you. Not personally, but just I don't want to go down.
Even with a double up here, Daniel will have less than 15 big blinds.
Either one. It's not your fault, either way.
All right, Negreanu at risk.
Best of luck. I'm glad you called. I just didn't want you to hit an ace. Did any of you fold aces? No? Okay, thanks, bud. Okay, we need a 10. Just put a 10 and we're good. How do you say 10? Yeah.
Ace more likely if you folded fours.
No.
Here's the flop.
There's no 10? Hey, good, no ace. Oh, I want to win this pot really bad. Really bad.
Daniel's 10s are still best.
Hurt my feelings. Don't do it. A 10 now.
Actually rooting for you big time in this
Thanks,
one.
bud.
Turn card. Oh! There's the ace.
Oh, this World Series sucks this year. Every time I'm in 2-1, I lose. Boo. God.
You only have to say 10. 10.
DS, right?
Negreanu's main event will be over unless he hits a river 10.
The river card of 4. Well, Robinson shoulda, coulda, woulda. Daniel Negreanu knocked out of the main event.
Go get him. Good luck, bro. All right, man. Good luck.
He goes out with a smile, but the disappointment is palpable.
All right. 2-1 favorite.
Rupert Elder plays the bad guy in Negreanu's last hand of his World Series summer. Daniel is with Kara Scott right now.
Daniel, you seemed a bit preoccupied with the whole Jamie Gold rule at the table today. Do you think that affected your state of mind?
No, not really. I mean, if I look back at all the hands I played, I wouldn't do anything differently. I mean, the rule is really stupid and really, like, I'm surprised you asked me that because now I'm going to get on a totally different rant. But the truth is, like, part of what people like to watch on poker is the table talk. And there's absolutely no good reason to not allow it because the idea of collusion is just stupid. It makes no sense. I know this. 99% of the poker world knows this and hates it, but we don't make all the rules. And the people who do have made a big mistake in terms of poker's future by saying that, you know, you have to cater, you have to be careful what you talk about heads up. It's just really dumb.
Well, thanks so much for talking to us.
No worries.
Day 5 has seen carnage.
I'm going home now.
Oh, I want to win this pot really bad.
No! Day 5 has seen controversy.
It's a good level of respect.
I'm not disrespecting you. I was just asking you a question.
I promise you I'll get one tomorrow.
But to make it through Day 5, players must stay the course.
People just think I'm crazy and always pay me off and never believe me.
My personality is sometimes I'm able to loosen the game up, you know, just make the game a little bit more fun.
Wow! People might think I'm a calling station, they might think I'm a bully. Whatever their perception is of me, I want to be able to react accordingly.
I'm not calling 7,000.
The margin for error on Day 5 is non-existent as players set their sights on Day 6. Welcome to Day 5 coverage of the World Series of Poker Main Event, presented by Jack Link's Beef Jerky. 210 players remain. One will be world champion. Will it be current chip leader David Bach?
This man loves to bowl. How can I not love a man who loves to bowl?
Will it be former chip leader Ben Lamb?
Looks trusting, plays tricky, and he's a really nice fella. How could I not love Ben Lamb?
Will it be rising star Phil Collins? And yes, that's his real name.
My real name's Norman Chad. How can I not love a guy whose real name is Phil Collins?
Will it be 51-year-old amateur Sam Barnhart?
How can I not root for someone who graduated from the University of Central Arkansas? Go Sugar Bears!
Or maybe Brooklyn amateur Manoj Viswanathan?
I'm in a New York state of mind, Lon. How can I not love this guy?
Here's our leaderboard. We saw Bach with the lead, German Peus Heinz closing in. Lamb has cruised for most of this main event. And don't forget, Max Heinzelman, he's in 7th place right now.
You say Max Heinzelman, I say main event champion.
At our feature table, the always entertaining but not broke yet, Jean-Robert Bellande.
He used to promote nightclubs, now he promotes himself.
Also here, the always dangerous Alan Cunningham.
Might be the quietest superstar in the game. He seldom speaks unless spoken to.
The blinds at 8 and 16,000 with a 2,000 chip ante. Cunningham with a button, current payout just over $47,000.
All these players in the money, but seeking now the big money.
Patrick Coughlin still rocking the purple. Over to Boulevard Palacios, a Panamanian pro, just turned 28, ace-queen. And he's going to raise it up to 40,000. He sits with almost 1.5 million. Folded over to Cunningham on the button, ace-9 of hearts.
Allen's won bracelets and hold'em, stud and deuce-to-7 low ball draw, and he won my heart in the summer of '05.
Allen has padded his stack with over $500,000 during this Day 5 with ace-9 of hearts. He raises to 110,000.
Boy, this guy would stand out at a rave.
Ruben Visser folds his big blind. Back to Palacios.
The last 2-3 hands that I saw,
Is it just me or the cards? You don't talk during hands, or do you? Sounds sick.
Sometimes Allen does not speak when spoken to.
Palacios, the original raiser.
Such a neat, man. Such a neat.
Lays it down.
Reputation earned Allen that pot. Ben Lamb probably couldn't 3-bet there and get a fold.
One clapper.
Cunningham playing the player takes the pot.
First time I get here, like the first hand I raised with 8 deuce. He 3-bets, I 4-bet. He shoved.
Oh, you showed the hand?
No, I raised again with ace queen. He 3-bets, I fold.
You folded to the first 3-bet?
Palacios still trying to best his finest main event moment, finishing 136 in 2009.
But I sure as hell ain't snap folding ace queen. Like, give me ace queen. We're going to war.
You're Jean Robert Queen Trey, and sometimes he'll go to war.
We both be disappointed.
Is there like a really funny YouTube video of you having ace queen?
This here referencing the very famous knockout hand of Jean Robert Bellande in 08.
I told him that when you
One raises with Jack 10.
there,
Cunningham folds King Queen off. Folded to Ruben Visser, 10-6.
I don't remember that video. I have no idea what you're talking about.
Bye-bye.
Did the guy really say bye-bye before the card came out? That's the strongest part of the whole video. I didn't even realize that happened until
He said it on the turn.
I know. As soon as Ruthless says, "Hey, Robert, you can still catch a 7 after I'm celebrating," the guy says, "Bye-bye."
Heads up, Palacios and Bellande. Palacios with a pair of 8s and a flush draw. He checks. Bellande with a gut shot. He checks.
Jean Robert usually can multitask, talk, and bluff.
Turn card. Another king. Palacios still leads. With chips in hand this time. 38,000.
38,000 is the bet.
Jean Robert can either fold quietly here, or he can give a speech and then fold.
Buddy, I think I found the guy that just owns me. You're my kryptonite in this tournament.
Palacios takes the pot.
Pick one. Pick one.
What's that?
It's a jack.
No, I told you pick one.
I almost did my trick. This guy did this to me before. He says, "You can look at one." I said to him after the hand, I said, "You can look at one." He says, "Excuse me?" I said, "You can look at one." He picks up one card, he turns it over, then he turns over the other card. I said, "What the heck, dude?" He says, I said, "You can look at one card." He said, "Yeah, but you said it twice." Yeah.
Jean Robert Bellande inserted himself into mainstream America with his 8th place finish on Survivor China in 2007. In 2010, his 78th place finish at the main event raised a lot of eyebrows in the poker community. But Norman, while his overall career stats do not stand out, everything else about Jean Robert certainly does.
Well, he's 6'6", so he's hard to miss. He never shuts up, so he's hard not to hear. You always know he's in the room. Heck, his ego alone could fill Caesar's palace. The thing is, I always feel conflicted about the guy. Sure, you half expect Jean Robert to trip over his own tongue, but if he did, you'd want to help him up. I mean, some days I love to hate him, and some days I hate that I love him.
You need help.
I know.
You are right, though, Norman. When Bellande is at the table, he is impossible to ignore. We'll keep here at the featured table. Jean Robert's second straight deep run, one of many stories emerging from this year's main event. All of the former main event champs are gone. 4 women are left near the end of this day 5. David Bach, one of the many players who has held the chip lead over the course of this, the 42nd annual version of the big one. Folded to Bolivar Palacios with pocket 8s.
Palacios worked in his family's rice milling business before turning to poker.
Raised to 43,000.
I love rice milling, Lon. I love rice, and I love milling around.
Pocket jacks for Alan Cunningham.
Alan won bracelets in 3 consecutive years, 05, 06, and 07.
Does he want to tangle with the Panamanian again?
I wonder if Palacios is ready for another 3-bet. Well, like you, Lon, Cunningham is flummoxed by pocket jacks.
Indeed. We know Alan will play. What's he going to do with them? Just a call.
Yeah, the problem with pocket jacks is they're just pocket 10s in disguise, and pocket 10s are just pocket 9s in disguise, and who likes pocket 9s?
Very well said. Fold it over to Rupert Elder with pocket 9s. Elder, 24-year-old UK poker pro, and for the folks new to poker at home, it really is hard to pick up pocket pairs and hold them.
Well, see, the problem with pocket 9s, Lon, is they're really pocket 8s in disguise, and pocket 8s are just pocket 7s in disguise, and who likes pocket 7s?
So you're saying pocket jacks are just like pocket 7s pretty much, too.
Can you see how it works?
See how it works. A re-raise from Elder to 124,000 now. Things get a little more serious at this feature table. Back to Palacios and his 8s.
Oh, pocket 8s are a problem, Lon.
How much you have left?
About 1.1. Start the hand.
All three of these players have over 1 million chips.
Well, Palacios raised from early position. Elder knows that. So Palacios knows that Elder knows that Palacios probably has a big hand, yet Elder still 3-bet it. And of course, Alan Cunningham is still in the mix. It's quite a pickle.
So a call from Palacios with the 8s. Now to the jacks and Alan Cunningham.
I would not be shocked if Cunningham 4-betted here.
You said you had 1.1, right?
I would not be shocked if Cunningham folded it here.
Known as Clever Piggy. Take off on his name, Cunningham.
Oh.
Just a call from Alan.
I pretty much expect him to call.
So 3 players with pocket pairs will see the flop.
Cunningham.
10 ace queen. Alan still ahead with the jacks, now with a Broadway draw as well.
That's a pretty bad flop for all of those pocket pairs, though.
Rupert Elder with the 9s is reaching for his stack.
He's going to take a stab. I liked his 3-bet pre-flop out of position. I like this bet out of position as well.
180,000. Palacios quickly rids himself of the 8s.
And now Elder hoping to force out the best hand.
Held by one of the best players in the game. Cunningham looking at Elder suspiciously.
I'm going to wuss.
And he folds the best hand.
Well played, well deserved by Elder.
A gutsy continuation bet by Elder after that dangerous flop. It was well timed and 100% effective against the bigger stacks of Palacios and Cunningham.
Maybe he's not Alan Cunningham anymore. Oh, sure he is.
Jacks do weird things to people. At an outer table, 2 Brazilian amateurs squaring off. Fabio Sousa all in with ace-10 off. Hilton Laborda called with pocket 6s.
2 Brazilians? What is this, the World Series of Rio?
No, it's the World Series at the Rio. Here's the flop, 6-5-7. Sousa sees he's way behind now as Laborda flopped a set of 6s.
To stick around, Sousa's going to need runner-runner clubs or runner-runner straight.
9 of clubs, flush draw, and a gut shot to a 10 high straight for Sousa now.
Big turn card for Sousa. Now any 8 or any club other than the 6 would keep him around.
It's a club on the river. Sousa hits his flush.
It's Carnival for Sousa.
Runner, runner, winner, winner.
I guess I'd be pretty pumped too.
Mr. Laborda, life is not fair, and poker is a part of life.
Sousa has renewed life now with 539,000. Laborda down to 740,000. Will now try to regroup and recoup. Welcome back to the Rio. Just over 200 players remain, all dreaming of the November 9 and the main event bracelet. Jean-Robert Bellande, one of them. His main event adventures have been well documented through the years. Here are a couple of memorable ones.
Pretty active. Isn't there like a really funny YouTube video of you having ace queen?
Deuce ball. It's a 6.
That's the chord I'm talking
Not
about.
over yet, Jean-Robert.
Did I tell you that you look very handsome today, sir?
Jean-Robert, he can still hit a 7. Bye-bye.
Don't do it to me like that. That would be ugly.
River card. Oh! It's a 7. Bellande is gone.
Fun.
I don't think I've ever won in a free roll spot like this. If this happens, this will be the first time. Maybe this is my year.
Yes!
Yeah, give me one round for excessive celebration, please.
One moment you want to slug him, the next moment you want to hug him. But I still figured he would be the first guy out on Survivor.
Well, he was not there, and he has not been voted off this main event island yet this year.
Jean-Robert voted off 8th on Survivor China, so technically he made the final table.
All right, Visser lays it down, folded over to Rupert Elder. Elder with the jack links, beef jerky, wild card hand.
Who do I look like, Kreskin?
He's going to raise it up to 34,000.
Middle position, white sweater, sleeves up. I'll give him A, ace-10 suited.
All right, folded to Bellande, and Bellande will come along with ace tray.
No matter what Jean-Robert is wearing, he'll play any 2 cards out of the big blind.
So Bellande against Elder with the wild card hand. All right, here's the flop. It is ace 10-6. Bellande paired his ace, but he's going to check his weak kicker.
I think Elder might continuation bet any of the 4 possible hands.
Elder has not been shy to put chips in the pot. 44,000.
I'll stick with Elder having aces up, and he's going to punish Jean-Robert for playing the weak ace.
Bellande makes the call.
Jean-Robert just flailing away, doesn't know where he stands.
All right, turn card. Well, wherever he stood, he's standing better with aces up now.
Well, Jean-Robert went from no man's land to donkey's paradise. Aces up might be good now.
75,000 is the bet from Jean-Robert.
If Elder's got B, a gut shot, he's gone. If he's got D, pocket kings, he might be gone.
Elder, just with the call.
I think it's A or C, either aces up or 10s and 6s.
All right, to the river we go. Bellande with aces up, we know that. A deuce of spades on the river.
They should deal out another river card line because that deuce changes nothing. Why waste our time?
Bellande, that's 75,000 on the turn. Now with a stack of orange.
Elder looks a little concerned about this bet in progress.
Bellande keeps adding to that stack, 190,000.
Jean-Robert bets 60% of the pot.
Elder now trying to figure this out.
Well, if it's this tough of a decision, I doubt he has ace-10. I think he snap calls here with aces and 10s. It's 10-6 or pocket kings, I guess. It must be 10-6 for 2 pair. Or maybe he's really, really slow playing top 2 pair.
Elder is really slow playing anything he has. And he does lay down King Jack. Oh, the Jack Links beef jerky wildcard hand. Sorry, Norman.
You know, I don't need any help looking bad. I hate when the players make me look really bad. Elder's on my list.
Jean-Robert will stack more winnings.
Excellent laydown, kid. God dang, you're tough.
Excellent laydown. It was a slow laydown. Jeez.
I'm surprised he hasn't had shirts made with that slogan.
He can't afford that. He'd need backing.
Excellent laydown.
Back to the outer tables. The knockout payout still at $47,000. Former Facebook executive Chamath Palihapitiya is on his feet because he's all in with King Queen. Top German player Sebastian Rutenberg trying to score the knockout with pocket 4s. All right, here's the flop. The amateur at risk, and now with a pair of queens in ahead.
But if I were Palihapitiya, I would friend that flop.
All right, turn card. Deuce of hearts.
Getting better.
Yeah, flush draw now.
Palihapitiya should friend the turn.
The river, another heart.
I got there twice.
He got there twice. The flush will give him the double up.
He definitely should friend the river. He likes flushes. He likes the main event. He likes poker.
Well, he likes sticking around, and he will do that with 362,000. He's short, but still in it.
The German-U.S. battle continues. Thank you, sir.
Palihapitiya, probably one of the few players not tweeting about his results. Rutenberg remains over 2 million. To another outer table with pocket aces. Martin Stajko facing a pre-flop 4-bet from Alex Moore, who sits with pocket kings.
Bad spot for pocket kings. I've seen this movie before.
Now the aces. Stajko all in. And a quick call from Moore. And Moore sees the bad news. This might cost Moore almost a third of his stack.
Moore, who finished 269th at last year's main event, looks exasperated. Stajko, 35-year-old pro, cannot exhale yet. He's at risk, and he's got to survive the board.
Aces versus kings. Here's the flop, and king 6. Ace, a set for each. My goodness.
Stajko still looks oddly uncomfortable.
Turn card, 3 of diamonds.
Only one card will end Martin Stajko's main event, the king of clubs.
Tall order for Moore. He needs quads, and he was teased with a paint card on the river, but the queen means Stajko will double up.
Moore's big stack gets cut down, and Stajko now has a pretty nice stack.
He sits with 2.1 million and change. For Alex Moore, he has knocked down to 2.4 million.
Martin Stajko, one of the best players we've ever seen from Trinnic.
The 35-year-old makes the aces work. At the secondary feature table, Brooklyn amateur Manoj Viswanathan has pocket jacks. They led pre-flop. They now lead after the flop. Canadian amateur Sean Haddam at risk with pocket 6s.
Haddam, 27, owns a junior hockey team with his family in Quebec.
Turn card is the queen of clubs. No help to Haddam.
Haddam needs a 6 and a 6 only, or Viswanathan has got the knockout.
The river card. is a jack, and Viswanathan rivers a set. Had him knocked out with his second cash of the 2011 World Series.
I'm glad we got here in time to see Manoj Viswanathan win a hand. Here comes Manoj again.
Well, he's got about 1.4 million chips right now. Viswanathan trying to reclaim some of the mojo that once had this volatile amateur at the top of the leaderboard. Welcome back to the World Series of Poker Main Event presented by Jack Link's Beef Jerky. To the outer tables we go. 2010 November 9er Joseph Chung has pinned his main event hopes on Queen 8 of clubs, all in up against the Ace-King off of Daryl Jace.
I told you the kid couldn't make it to back-to-back November 9s. Chung all in, almost a 2-to-1 dog.
He put his last 763,000 in the middle with the Queen 8 of clubs. Here is the flop now. Ace 4 Trey, a pair of aces for Jace, a flush draw for Chung.
I got the blocker. You got the one blocker. 4% equity right now.
Turn card. A 5 puts a wheel draw on the board.
Chung now would need any deuce or a club to stick around.
And they could chop it. The river card now is a club! And Joseph Chung rivers the flush to double him up.
Okay, it's possible he'll make another November 9. I'm not rooting against him.
Jace started the hand with over 3 million. He's now down to 2.5 million chips.
I wish I would have had the redraw. What? You got it on the turn?
I got it on the turn.
Joseph Chung with about 500,000 over the chip average now.
Still would like him more without the hoodie and the shades.
Chung and his unpredictable play will stick around. Back to the secondary featured table. Action has been folded around to the button. Scott Schwalik. Queen 7 off. He lays it down in the small blind. Manoj Viswanathan. Ace 5 off.
Beware the Ides of March, Shakespeare taught us. But if he were a poker player, he would have told us to beware the weak ace.
But he likes the ace and a raise to 38,000 to Harold Wasson with Ace 8 in the big blind.
Speaking of Shakespeare, now inside the actor's studio, James Lipton contemplating the raise. Lipton, a well-known method hold'em player.
Wasson, 64-year-old from Corona, re-raises to 100,000 with a bigger ace.
All in.
All in and a call. Wasson puts himself at risk, but he's ahead.
I didn't like Manoj's 4-bet there, and I didn't like Wasson's quick call, but Wasson is right.
Wasson at risk, but ahead right now. The flop, and Wasson pairs his 8, which means Manoj is drawing very thin.
What was my man Manoj doing? He risked 40% of his stack in this spot.
Turn card now. 9 of diamonds. Viswanathan can only hope to chop it.
Indeed, Wasson now has survived his all-in. They would chop the pot if an ace or a 9 hits the river.
9 or an ace.
The river card. The jack of diamonds, no chop. Wasson takes the pot to double to over 900,000.
And back inside the actor's studio, James Lipton has fleeced the off-Broadway amateur.
Manoj Viswanathan now down to 665,000. Chip average over 1 million. Back to the outer tables. Umberto Caloro is an amateur poker player now living in Switzerland. He flopped a gut shot and raised Hollywood's Mars Callahan, who holds pocket queens and a better than 3-to-1 advantage.
I'm sorry? I'm Umberto.
37-year-old sales manager.
I'm Umberto, huh?
He's Umberto.
Italy. Yeah. It's fantastic.
I'm a big Mars Callahan fan, but if he ever shows up on Inside the Actor's Studio, I'm going to assume James Lipton ran out of actors.
How do I read that? How do I read I'm Umberto from Italy? I don't understand. How do I read I'm Umberto from Italy?
Yes, you need the name from Johnny, and before you make my question, I say it.
Thank you so much. I appreciate that. It's French. Umberto from Italy, just basement.
I stand corrected. Mars is so much fun, he should be a guest on Inside the Actor's Studio. Director of the 2002 film Pool Hall Junkies.
Umberto from Italy, I think you either hit a set, in which case I'm behind. You have jacks, in which case I'm ahead.
can't reveal the contents of your hand, so.
I didn't say what I had.
You kind of are, yeah.
No, I just talked about what he might have. I didn't talk about what I had. I mean, I was very careful not to do so.
I wish this were the wild card hand. I think we all know now that he has pocket queens.
Okay.
This isn't even an all-in decision. It's for 147,000 more chips.
I think,
Gosh. If Mars were directing this film, it would be over budget by now. This feels like Waterworld with chips.
Come on, Mars.
I call.
Okay, with the best hand, he calls.
47.
Oh, Umberto's lips drawn in. That's a I don't have a set tell. And I can't believe we're actually going to see a turn card.
All right, here it is. Another 8. No improvement to Coloro. But he's moving all in with his final 291,000.
Mars Callahan in thought, take 2. This might take a while.
This will not be a snap call.
I call.
Call. He does call, though. And Coloro in deep trouble.
Yeah, Callahan does make the right read. He's got Coloro nailed, dead to a 7.
Mars Callahan trying to score the knockout and pick up a bunch of new chips.
Ace.
The river card is a 5, and that'll play like an ace for Mars as he wins it and knocks out Coloro.
Mars Callahan should cast Coloro for his upcoming Poker Junkies film. That would be a nice gesture.
Another nice win for Mars. Coloro's first reported live cash comes on the game's biggest stage and is worth over $47,000. With 1.7 million chips, Mars Callahan has gone from sideshow to a real threat here at the 2011 main event. Back inside the Amazon room, Lon McCarron along with Norman Chad here on day 5 of the 2011 main event. As we catch up on action at the secondary feature table. Under the gun, Scott Schwalek on the Jack Links Beef Jerky Hole Cam, King Jack offsuit.
The 24-year-old's online name is Become Legendary. Of course, the best way to do that is to win the main event.
He does raise the 35,000 now to Manoj Viswanathan with pocket queens.
Manoj with a real hand. That's like a cat burglar with a day job.
But he has dropped almost 1.5 million chips on this very frustrating day 5. A re-raise to 100,000.
James Lipton over there with King Jack, but right now thinking back to his Barbra Streisand interview.
Over to the top stack at this table, David Barter with 2 black aces.
Oh man, say it ain't so, Lon.
It is so.
I've got to go get the car. I promised Manoj a ride to the airport.
Canadian player with his 5th World Series cash, and the 24-year-old with a re-raise to 217,000. A lot of folds behind him, so back to Schwalek now.
Well, Schwalek's gone.
Yeah. King Jack in the muck. Viswanathan with the queens.
Viswanathan, 32-year-old lawyer in his first main event. Up and down, and now in a very precarious position here on day 5.
Manoj is not going anywhere. Makes the call for 117,000 more.
Frankly, I thought Manoj was going to push there.
And Barter with a little show of rechecking his cards. The flop now. Deuce 7-9, no help to Viswanathan.
That's a safe flop for pocket queens. Manoj has got to feel like he's in pretty good shape.
He checks it.
All in.
Puts Viswanathan all in.
I call.
And a call. Viswanathan at risk and way behind.
It's a cold deck for Manoj Viswanathan, and this wonderful and bumpy ride here at the main event might be over for the amateur. Barter seems satisfied with the 1.5 million chip pot coming his way.
Viswanathan has really made a mark at this main event, but he's going to need to find some help. The tray on the turn is no help.
And the former chip leader still looking for a 2-outer. Manoj Viswanathan needs a queen and a queen only, or he is wamboozled.
The river is an 8, and that will do it. The meteoric main event showing of Manoj Viswanathan falls to earth with his day 5 elimination.
The Canadian knocked him out. Let's check his papers.
Viswanathan leaves the main event. It was not a pretty day 5 for him. A steady decline right from the start. culminating with running his queens into aces. He will have a lot of memories, though not all good. And right now he is with Arcara Scott.
Manoj, talk to us about this last half hour. It was obviously a couple of brutal pots for you.
Yeah, I mean, it was one cooler at the end, but I also didn't play that well. I'll be honest. I misplayed a few hands early on, made a few ill-timed bluffs. Also didn't really get a lot of cards to work with. But all in all, the first thing I would say is I had a great time. It was a ton of fun. And when it comes to how I played, I could play better.
Thanks so much for talking to us.
No problem. Thank you.
Manoj might be the first poker player to publicly admit he played badly. Can't they let him back into the main event just for being so candid?
To an outer table, bracelet winner John Friedberg in the black shirt in the middle flop top pair, but he's drawing dead after the turn because Payus Hines flopped a set of queens, then checked the 5 on the turn. Friedberg now bets $268,000.
Friedberg won a no-limit bracelet in 06. Hines wondering how he can get all of Friedberg's chips right here.
How about by raising them all in?
Well, Hines, with a reputation as a loose, aggressive player, this is the kind of spot where it's often easy for him to get paid off.
Top pair, top kicker for Friedberg, calls all in, and he can look for the payout cage right away.
No worse feeling than calling off all your chips drawn dead.
Friedberg on his feet will see an irrelevant river card as he will win over $47,000 for his third career main event cash. For the German, he's young and aggressive, and now the chip leader with over $3.8 million. Payus Hines is now the man to beat. The sun setting here in Las Vegas as day 5 of the main event continues here at the Rio. Big hands running into big hands seems to be the norm. Brian Devonshire's set of queens has Joe Tihan's set of 7s in trouble.
Set over set, the Grim Reaper of no limit hold'em.
The turn card, an 8 of hearts, no help to Tihan.
Tihan needs the case 7. Devonshire staring at a big bounty.
The river card is the case queen. Quads for Devonshire will send Tihan to the rail.
The fourth one, really, dude? You needed the fourth queen, really?
The man they call Devo was working on a 2 million chip stack before that hand. He's now closing in on 3 million for Tihan. 4 cashes at this year's World Series. This one was worth over $47,000.
Construction costs have gone up, and now Devo can work on a new, bigger Chip Castle project.
Devonshire started the day with almost 1.4 million, so the former poker dealer turned poker pro having a good day 5. Back to the feature table, Patrick Coughlin opened the action from early position, raising to 37,000 with pocket 5s. Jean-Robert Bellande calls with King Jack.
Jean-Robert used to make money shooting pool. You think he trash-talked it all in the pool hall?
I'm sure that he did. Alan Cunningham folded his button. Baisley the small blind. Visser folds his big blind, so it will be Patrick Coughlin and Jean-Robert Bellande heads up. All right, here's the flop. 10, ace, 10, 2 pair for Coughlin, 5s and 10s. Jean-Robert with a Broadway draw.
Coughlin once ran and completed a marathon, which he's quite proud of. The main event is like a marathon, only with chips, blazers, and hoodies.
Yeah, Coughlin certainly dressed better here than he does for a marathon.
Boy, I'd kill for that hair.
Coughlin with the best hand.
On the plus side, I use less shampoo than Patrick Coughlin does.
That's an understatement. He bets 42,000. Out of Bellande on the draw.
Well, Jean-Robert not scared of the board. Jean-Robert looking for a queen ball corner pocket.
He makes the call, and they will see a turn. Turn card, and there is the queen ball. Bellande with Broadway.
And all those big cards have got to scare Coughlin. There are straight and flushes out there now.
He looks at his cards. Nope, you have the 5 of hearts. Sorry, Patrick. Coughlin bet 42,000 on the flop, but checks the turn.
I gotta believe Jean-Robert was one loud pool hustler. Right now, he's quiet as a church mouse.
140.
140,000 announced by Bellande. And Coughlin quickly gives up his hand, and rightly so.
Jean-Robert racks up another one. Pool hall or poker room, he cuts quite a figure.
Jean-Robert got his card on the turn. He adds 100,000 new chips to his stack. All right, to the outer tables, noting some recent eliminations. Tupper Lake's Patrick Poirier, a former chip leader, is gone. A big hand here, David Bach with aces again. Seth Davies on the dealer's left, shoved with queens. Mays and Corey now pushing with pocket tens, both of them called by Bach.
Is it my imagination, or does Bach have aces, kings, or ace-king every hand?
Every hand, and now with two players at risk, Bach with a chance to pick up a huge pot.
Corey and Davies both could get knocked out right here. Incidentally, David Bach needs to finish at least 7th in the main event to pay for the massages.
All right, here is the flop. Two players at risk. Deuce, 7, 5, 2 clubs. The ace is still good for Bach.
Davies and Corey look forlorn. Bach very comfortable, but wondering why the masseuses don't work bowling alleys.
The turn card. Davies on the left, Corey on the right. Both staring at elimination. Another 5 means our at-risk players have one shot left.
Bach poised for a double knockout. Davies needs a queen. Corey needs a 10.
The river card is a queen. Davies earns the triple up. Bach with aces up takes the side pot and knocks out Mays and Corey. Corey made a final table earlier at the World Series. Davies now sits with over 1 million chips. But Mays and Corey will make his exit, earning over $47,000 for 179th place. David Bach did not get the double knockout, but earns enough to retake the chip lead here at the main event. Welcome back to the main event, home of the biggest prize pool in any sport. And with so much at stake, it's no wonder the players try to mask their emotions and put on their best poker face, as we learn from ESPN Sports Science and John Brinkus.
To break down the science of the poker tell, we arranged a heads-up game between pros David Oppenheim and Ali Islami. We wire each player with sensors, hook up each to a polygraph, and enlist a body language expert to help us look for clues. Play some poker. Under pressure, a player can undergo several physical changes that an expert opponent might pick up. Subtle fluctuations in breathing rate and even a change in the opponent's pulse can be detected.
I wear the high-collared shirt because it covers the neck, which is where you can see a lot of the pulse.
And a rising heart rate can lead to pupil dilation.
When the breathing rate goes up, the heart rate will go up, which will make the pupils dilate.
Pupil dilation, when the pupil gets larger, usually indicates contentment, while pupil constriction indicates stress. And the difference can be as small as 1/10 of an inch. But good players can pick up changes that small. That's one reason many players wear sunglasses to hide that telltale dilation. Another poker tell is the smile.
It's very difficult to fake a real smile.
The major muscles used to create a genuine smile draw the corners of the mouth up. An artificial smile, on the other hand, uses different muscles, which pull the mouth outward. But machines aren't fooled by fake smiles. Our polygraph expert recorded that when he was bluffing, Ali actually stopped breathing. David's tell was something harder to catch: electrodermal activity, essentially sweat. According to our polygraph analysis, David's body pumped roughly 3 to 4 times as much fluid to his extremities when he was bluffing. For over 95% of the match, David had a lower heart rate, lower skin temperature, and a smaller deviation in breathing rate than Ali. So it might not be a coincidence he took home the trophy. For ESPN Sports Science, I'm John Brinkus.
You know, Lon, pupil constriction was the downfall of my second marriage.
You can go to ESPN.com/poker for more World Series coverage. Amateur Kirk Caldwell earned his first ever World Series cash when he won a bracelet and nearly $700,000 in one of the $1,500 no-limit hold'em tournaments held this summer.
Absolutely amazing. Living a dream.
And in a $1,000 no-limit hold'em event, online poker instructor Mark Schmidt took home nearly $500,000 at his first bracelet.
It's the biggest accomplishment of my poker career by far. Couldn't be happier.
Among the 175 players left in the main event is Claudia Crawford, one of 3 women remaining in the field. Former Facebook exec Chamath Palihapitiya is all in again with jacks, trailing the aces of Hoi Lee.
That doesn't look good at all.
Turn card is a jack. That looks good.
Wow.
This guy should friend all dealers.
I'm in the lead right now.
Lee's got to have an ace and knock him out.
The river card is a deuce.
That's awesome.
And he doubles up again. I'm over $1 million.
Lon actually wishes you'd stop doubling up because he's tired of trying to pronounce your name.
I think I pulled a muscle.
Say it again, Lon.
Chamath Palihapitiya doubles to $1,030,000.
I was at 200,000 just like 20 minutes ago. 200,000 to $1 million. This game is crazy.
Welcome to the club. To another outer table, Chris Kwan on the left just rivered a king-high straight, but that same card gave Matthew Wantman in the blue shirt the nut flush. Kwan with his straight leading out for $280,000.
Kwan, 27-year-old poker pro from Palisades Park, New Jersey. He made a World Series final table this year in a no-limit event. Wantman, a 22-year-old pro from Stoneham, Massachusetts, sitting on the stone-cold nuts.
And his opponent betting into him, a raise to $700,000 with the nut flush from Wantman.
And that raise, a wake-up call for Chris Kwan. But, you know, sometimes that alarm clock goes offline in the morning, you hit the snooze button, and you go back to sleep for a couple of hours. Kwan might not even hear this wake-up call.
Absolutely. Enamored with his straight, perhaps, is Kwan.
Well, it's a tough, tough hand to get away from at this point. He's got the nut straight. Only a flush beats him. This hand was blind against blind.
And a flush does beat him, unfortunately. Kwan calls off 30% of his remaining stack, but comes up short.
Yep, sometimes you know it, but you just have to see it.
Kwan loses $1 million, Wantman gains $1 million.
Suddenly, Matthew Wantman is a name to remember, and that's a name you can pronounce, Lon, no?
Thankfully, yes.
Say it for me.
Matthew Wantman now over 2.2 million chips at the main event, and with that pot, he inserts himself into the race for the November 9. At the feature table, short-stacked Ralph Robinson is at risk with ace-5 of spades. With pocket tens, Jacob Baisley trying to earn the knockout.
Robinson was down to 7 big blinds.
All right, here's the flop. It is trade deuce 5. Robinson with a pair of 5s and a wheel draw.
Robinson, the accountant who works at the Centers for Disease Control and Prevention in Atlanta. Baisley, a 28-year-old poker pro who played Division II basketball at Christian Brothers University in Memphis.
Turn card 9 of hearts, no help to Robinson. Baisley still good with the 10s.
Robinson's going to need an ace, 4, or a 5, or Baisley's knocked him out.
The river card, another deuce. Ralph Robinson from Stone Mountain, Georgia, knocked out of the main event by Jacob Baisley.
Another nice showing for another likable amateur.
His second cash at this year's World Series.
Good job, man. You played well, dude. Appreciate it.
Baisley now moves over 1 million chips. Robinson will have some good stories to tell his On Tilt Poker Club members.
I have no idea how much we're making right now.
It's pretty sick for a $330 satellite.
Huh?
That's pretty sick for a $300 satellite.
$300 satellite? Was it a $300 satellite, bro? $330. My man.
From a $330 investment to nearly a 50 grand payoff. Of course, Chris Moneymaker started the poker boom by turning a $40 satellite into $2.5 million.
I'm pretty sure he's got a lot more of a piece of himself than I do. Damn. Shoot, I got none of myself right now.
Jean Robert does have a better than average stack right now with 1.3 million. Action on the 40-year-old pro. On the Jack Link's Beef Jerky whole cam, Jack Trey of spades.
Jean Robert thinking nefarious Jean Robert thoughts with Jack Trey under the gun +2.
40,000.
Don't try this at home. A raise to 40,000. Cunningham called with pocket tens.
Cunningham respects Jean Robert's early position raise, but I wish he would punish my very lanky buddy.
A lot of folds behind, and Bellande may have bitten off more than he can chew with the jack tray.
That's a good thing Jean Robert doesn't have a piece of himself playing jack tray.
Heads up, here we go, 7-8 queen. Bellande comes up empty.
But Jean Robert thinking more nefarious Jean Robert thoughts.
He looks like he wants to keep up the ruse. He does bet 70,000 now to Cunningham with the best hand.
Bellande continuing to rep a big hand. Cunningham looking not too comfortable. Although to be truthful, Allen often looks not too comfortable.
You're right, but I think Bellande does have Allen on his heels a bit at this table. Just a call from Allen. Turn card now. 4 of spades, a flush draw for Bellande, but a 3-1 dog.
Jean Robert picks up a draw, and he might be thinking, do I want to blow up here, or do I want to wait until day 6 to blow up? Now, I've got to hand it to Bellande trying to make a living playing Allen Cunningham out of position.
No turning back for Bellande, 125,000.
And again, Cunningham not quite sure where he's at the moment.
I had a bad feeling this hand. I wish I hadn't called the flop. Good hand, you win.
Cunningham lays it down.
Allen, man, that's an excellent laydown, buddy. You're playing great, buddy. Seriously, if it's not me, I hope it's you. But I hope more that it's me. Trust me.
Cunningham gives way to Bellande, providing more chips and confidence to Jean Robert. How do you like your pros? Seasoned? Sly?
Running hot in this tournament is unlike anything else. You know, building a big stack, you have such a feeling of power, and you can win so much money.
Confident?
I promise you I'll get one tomorrow. That's a promise.
Or just plain excitable?
Yes! Yes! Yeah, give me one round for excessive celebration, please.
For a big-name pro to reach the November 9, he must first make day 6.
Give me ace queen. We're going to war.
That can happen tonight. Hi, everyone. Welcome back for the conclusion of Day 5 of the World Series of Poker Main Event presented by Jack Link's Beef Jerky. All the jockeying for position has come down to this. Survive tonight, and you're on to Day 6. Gunslinger David Bach right now has the most bullets.
He is both the current chip leader and the current leader in total massages.
Ben Lamb has avoided danger all main event long.
He is a former chip leader. He dresses in white or he dresses in black. There's no in between.
Allen Cunningham is one of the most dangerous players remaining.
He's so good, Lon, I believe he could win the main event without ever having the chip lead.
Well, I keep telling you guys, excellent laydown. You keep making good laydowns.
Jean Robert Bellande is, well, Jean Robert Bellande. Elie Elezra is a member of Israel's A team, but with a short stack.
He does have that George Papard, Hannibal Smith look going.
And young German pro Max Heinzelmann is still alive.
Trying to become the first player to win the main event, wearing a Rorschach test on his shirt.
Heinzelmann has fallen off our leaderboard, but other big names have not. Bach on top, another young German pro, Peus Heinz over the 4 million mark in second. Lamb, Johnson, and USC Phildo Collins round out the top 5.
That's a pretty young group. David Bach, easily the oldest at 39.
Current payout, $47,000 plus cab fare to the airport. Jean Robert Bellande, 7-6 of spades. A raise to $50,000. Allen Cunningham with king-queen off in the big blind.
This will be blind versus blind. Of course, with my new super blind proposal, there would be 3 blinds in every hand, but nobody listens to me.
I like the idea more and more. Allen makes the call. He'll go up against the former Fei Lung tribe member when Jean Robert was on Survivor China. Trey, deuce 8 misses both players.
Can we start the handover and maybe get better cards?
Bellande checks. Cunningham got no piece of that. He checks. Turn card. Another deuce.
Cunningham with 5 bracelets. Bellande looking for his first. In 2008, he had a 19-1 chip lead heads up against Matt Graham for a limit hold'em bracelet, but Graham won.
Bellande now bets over half the pot, $75,000.
Jean Robert has the right idea here.
He has had the right idea against Allen a lot at this featured table. Allen does fold.
The bluff works. Jean Robert again out of position gets the better of Alan Cunningham.
That was a bad laydown, wasn't it?
Good laydown, buddy.
You always say that. You always say good laydown, buddy.
It's called positive reinforcement. You ever heard of Pavlov's theory? He was the one who conditioned the dog. You ring a bell, and right before dinner, and then soon when the ring the bell, the dog starts salivating because he knows it's chow time. So I keep telling you guys, excellent laydown. You keep making good laydowns.
As day 5 winds down and the 2011 main event reaches its later stages, decisions become magnified. Making excellent laydowns keep you in the game, but acquiring chips is still the prime directive. And as an example of how much the stakes have been raised, consider that the day 1 starting stack of 30,000 chips now equals the total of the small and big blind.
If I know nothing about No Limit Hold'em, Lon, and it is possible I know nothing, I do know that aggression pays. Aggression wins. But you have to pick your spots. Unbridled aggression, like we saw from Patrick Poirier and Manoj Viswanathan, eventually costs you. But bridled aggression, yes, bridled aggression, like we've seen from Ben Lamb and even Jean-Robert Bellande, can get you to the final table. So my know-nothing advice is bet a lot, but don't bet too much.
Good advice, Norman. The average stack right now in the room, about 1.2 million. Under the gun is Blake Bond, 39-year-old from Burnsville, on the Jack Link's Beef Jerky hole cam, ace-9 off.
Nah, why bother?
He does fold. Evan McNiff with pocket sixes.
McNiff studied computer engineering at Rochester Institute of Technology for 2 years before turning to poker.
He's got the second biggest stack at the table with almost 1.9 million. He raises to 42,000. Bolivar Palacios, Panamanian pro, folds a suited ace-8.
Palacios, a Florida State grad in industrial engineering. We get a lot of engineering types at the main event, and then we get Jean Robert.
Folded to Jean Robert with pocket queens, and he makes the call. And there's the beauty of Bellande's active style, Norman. Once in a while, he actually gets a hand. Over to Visser, queen jack into the muck. So it'll be heads up, McNiff and Bellande.
Jean Robert actually has a marketing degree from Azusa Pacific University.
Tray 5-10. McNiff gets no help, still behind.
McNiff has 5 World Series cashes.
The poker pro from San Diego checks. Bellande checks.
Jean Robert in trapping mode.
Turn card another 10. McNiff still a huge underdog.
Jean Robert with a lot of respect for McNiff's play.
McNiff will give him something to think about. A bet of 72,000. Bellande with queens up now. Makes a raise to 200,000.
Jean Robert springs his trap. Remember, Bellande checked in position on the flop, so McNiff confounded now by the raise. Bellande wearing his trapping gear today.
McNiff looks like he might stick around. He does make the call, not believing Jean Robert.
That is one serious looking trapper.
McNiff looking for something, and that deuce does not help him at all. And he decides to check. Bellande.
Jean Robert putting together a bet with his right arm, but I do believe his left arm will come into play before this wager is over.
Oh, and there is the left arm in play. You're right, Norman. 350,000.
Yeah, I've been around the farm a long time, Lon. Jean Robert betting about 2/3 of the pot.
Oh, I call.
And McNiff will pay off Jean Robert.
Nice check on the flop.
Now you represented it.
Pardon me?
Now you represented it right.
I didn't represent it. That time I represented ace queen.
I thought you had your king's face.
What's that? I had my king's face on?
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah. It was really serious.
Jean Robert got max value from his queens.
No, king's face doesn't check the flop.
King's face, queen's face, nicely done.
Jean Robert's a real player now, cracking the 2 million chip mark. It's quite an accomplishment to finish any day of the main event with chips. Right now, 168 players vying for a spot in the November 9. Ben Lamb right there is back at our secondary table, sitting with over 4 million chips. No one within striking distance, though this table is loaded with Steve Brecker, Peter Feldman, and Tony Hashem, all very dangerous players. Action on Hashem right now with ace-queen offsuit.
Hashem won back-to-back Player of the Year awards on the Australia-New Zealand Poker Tour in 09 and 2010.
We saw him at an outer table jawing with Ben Lamb. Right now, a raise to 55,000. Hold
around the Tony. He's going to raise it up.
Hold it over to Poker Pro Steve Brecker. Throws 5 tray into the muck. Lamb folds to Peter Feldman with pocket nines, known as Nordberg.
This is Nordberg's third main event cash in 5 years.
He calls.
Peter will make the call.
Dwayne Alexander folds. Big blind, Neil Charlton. 7 deuce into the muck. So heads up, Hashem and Feldman. Flop, 6-8 queen, top pair, top kicker for Tony Hashem.
Tony and Joe Hashem, pretty talented brother combo on the felt, considering they once had real jobs.
Hashem bets 80,000.
Nordberg holding that spot on his head that hurts just a little.
Nordberg probably hurting because there's an overcard in that flop. He does make the call, though.
By the way, could two brothers really win the main event? Really?
That would be something. Turn card, 4 of spades. Hashem is still best.
You got plus to a mil? No. I got 700 behind or something. 750.
Close to a mil.
Hashem checks this time.
I check.
As does Nordberg. River card. Deuce of clubs. So Feldman comes up short. Hashem checks.
Hashem got real crafty with top pair, top kicker.
125. I call. 2 nines.
And the queens will win it for Hashem.
Sweet bet.
Nordberg kicking himself for the value bet, but I would have thought 2 nines were good too at that point.
Hashem now with almost 1.9 million.
Joe Hashem, world champ in 05. Tony Hashem, world champ in 2011.
Tony does have a fighting chance with just 166 players remaining. Almost 206 million chips in play. The average stack about 1.2 million. Back to our featured table now.
If you wonder why sometimes we talk over Jean Robert's talk, you have to understand that Jean Robert is always talking.
Over halfway through the main event, and if players thought the first few days were tough to navigate, well, stick around another day or so.
You're here because you played poker. Some people are here because they got some good hands.
That's how you.
You're here because you play poker. Huh? That's how I got here?
He is quite entertaining to have at the table. Evan McNiff on the button with ace-queen off.
McNiff actually underwent special elective surgery just before this featured table so that he literally cannot hear Jean Robert.
A raise to 42,000. Folded to Sebastian Rutenberg in the big blind. The top stack here with pocket fives.
In 2008, Rutenberg won a World Series bracelet and a European Poker Tour title.
6-bet all in with ace-6 against Sean Deed.
And he will make the call for 22,000 more and go heads up with McNiff.
I played with him yesterday.
Flop, Jack 9-9, pocket fives, joined by the pair of nines on board. Still best for Rutenberg.
Rutenberg was 16th in this year's 50K Poker Players Championship.
He does not check to the razor. He bets 50,000.
If just with the ace-queen, and we hate ace-queen.
And he will make the call.
McNiff up to no good with that call. Ace-queen is a loser.
That's what Rutenberg is hoping. Turn card deuce of hearts, no help to McNiff.
He's got that same dumbfounded look on his face.
Reaching for chips once again.
I thought the call on the flop would slow down Rutenberg, but it does not.
You know what I'm talking about?
86,000 this time.
Well, if McNiff was calling the flop to bluff the turn, it's time to bluff, though that deuce is not a good bluffing card.
McNiff just with ace high, reaching for chips now. I guess he's counting on Rutenberg having no piece of that board or a pocket pair. And he makes the call.
There are his chips. If McNiff wants to call, he can call.
All right, the river card. A king of hearts. McNiff left with ace high. Rutenberg checks this time.
King of hearts, now that's a good bluffing card. And it looks like McNiff is going to get frisky with Squadouche.
McNiff stuck with Rutenberg the whole way. And now an opening here on the river. And McNiff, that's 192,000.
Rutenberg can't like it now. I don't think he can call now.
Now he put himself in this awkward spot. He calls.
Ace high.
Ace high, almost good, but it won't beat the pocket fives. Bellande can't believe Rutenberg made that call.
Team Germany. Team Germany, yay.
Team Germany knows how to pick off bluffs.
A good day for Rutenberg, 1.7 million to the positive, up to almost 2.9 million for the main event.
Wow, now I know why you and David Bach have all the chips. They're the two guys that never ever fold.
She won't care, right?
Have you lost your mind?
Just 192.
You just decided that you were a genius?
You know that line, genius
It
and...
was a perfect bet. Looked like a nice value bet.
Luckily, Rutenberg's stack size allowed him to afford that call on the river, win or lose. All right, back to the outer tables. On the right, another strong German player, Max Heinzelmann with ace-10. He re-raised Kyle Johnson pre-flop. Johnson with queen-9 suited owes $151,000 for a call, but instead he raises to 625.
Sometimes you fight aggression with aggression, but Lon, your aggression should be bridled.
Heinzelmann.
Max looks calm, but he plays furious.
He can appreciate aggression, and he makes the call for $349,000 more.
Heinzelmann not in the 5-bet mood. He might have hit his 5-bet quota for the month by day 3.
Max started the hand with 3.2 million, Johnson with 2.5 million. The flop now. Queen 8-8. Kyle Johnson flops queens up. He's got a huge advantage.
Johnson, 22-year-old Canadian, has a finance degree from the University of Alberta. That doesn't prepare you, though, for the likes of Max Heinzelmann.
But this is Kyle Johnson, a bet of $300,000 into a pot of almost 1.4 million.
$300,000? That's chump change to my man, Max. That's an invitation for him to run over you with nothing.
Heinzelmann with a big stack of the green, $805,000 total.
Uh-huh. You see, not only does Heinzelmann repop you with nothing, he puts that 5,000 chip on top. Max has a contorted mastermind.
Johnson has the best hand, though.
Come on.
And re-raises all in.
Game over. Johnson sees through it brilliantly, Lon, and Max has bluffed off a huge chunk of his stack and now must go back to the laboratory and concoct some other freakish scheme.
Well, Heinzelmann just trying to save face now, and he does fold. And look at Johnson, Norman. I don't think he was breathing through the whole hand.
Kyle Johnson cracks the Max Heinzelmann code.
Johnson over 4 million chips now. Heinzelmann's aggression got thrown back in his face, losing nearly half of his stack. Much of the power that carried him this far in the main event is gone. Everything moves quickly at the main event. One day you survive with ace-6 off. A couple of days later, you lose half your stack with ace-10. Such is the life of Max Heinzelmann. Inside the Amazon room, German Payus Heinz, the new chip leader with nearly 5 million. David Bach has added 3 million to his stack today, but is in second place. Local pro Brian Devonshire has taken time off from building chip castles to rake in a few big pots. Phil Collins has chipped up nicely from just over 1 million to over 3.5 million. Then there's Eric Lindgren, who ended day one with just 3,700 chips. Here on day 5, he's at 428,000. Short stack, but still around. All right, let's get back to the secondary feature table. Ben Lamb has 4 million chips, pocket aces, and a shot to knock out David Labchuk, holding pocket jacks.
41-year-old Canadian chiropractor, the designated Ben Lamb victim of the moment.
Here's the flop. 8-5 king, and slowly the tournament life being sucked out of Labchuk and the jacks.
Labchuk looking around for his car keys, which is curious because he flew here from Calgary.
All right, turn card now. 9 of diamonds. Labchuk down to his last card.
Labchuk looking for a 2-outer. Only a jack does it, or Ben Lamb has rung up another one.
The river card, the tray of spades. Lamb making the aces sing while eliminating David Labchuk. And Lamb makes his railbird sing also.
He's a rock star.
So boring, that flop. No sweat.
Tony Asham, of course, always pleased to see Ben Lamb stacking chips.
Another big pot for Lamb as he cements his stature as a full-time poker pro.
Ben Lamb, 26 years old, Las Vegas, Nevada. You know, Pogs, the fad, you know, they had in like the 90s. I remember we would play Pogs, and we would play if you won the Pogs, you'd keep them. And I remember I had all the Pogs. I developed a system, you know, to get all the Pogs. And That was, I guess, the first gambling I did. It's about 2nd grade. Just out here trying to get all the pogs, I guess. When I told my mom and dad I was gonna be a professional poker, they obviously thought I was a pretty big idiot. And you know, I was. It definitely was a stupid thing for me to drop out of college. I'm really happy with my decision now, as are my parents now. Where am I aiming, RJ? We'll need another one after that. I don't really believe in luck in any way. You know, poker is a game of skill. Luck is like, you know, magic to me. It's like something that doesn't exist. You're trying to, you know, tell me that the cards can change or something. The cards are set, you know, it's just however you play. And I mean, I don't know if I'm a killer underneath. You know, when people are gambling with each other, they're both trying to get each other. So it's not really I'm a killer. I'm just trying to beat you in the same game you're trying to beat me, and I don't want to lose, so I want to win.
As a 7-year-old, he was a great pot limit Pogs player, but mostly cash. His parents wouldn't let him travel the tournament Pogs circuit.
2011 might be the year of the rabbit in Chinese culture, but here at the World Series, it's been the year of Ben Lamb winning his first bracelet, a runner-up finish, a final table at the Poker Players Championship, and a deep run here at the main event. He's guaranteed a payout of almost $55,000 now with 160 players remaining. Ben has almost quadrupled his stack here on this day 5 with ace-king off.
Doesn't hurt when you're getting aces, ace-king.
Raised to $45,000.
Ben Lamb's 2011 World Series of Poker is starting to look a lot like Michael Mizrachi's 2010 World Series of Poker.
That's a good point. Folded over to Neil Charlton, 28-year-old from Cardiff, Wales. On the Jack Link's Beef Jerky hole cam, Queen 10 of spades. He plays mostly pot limit Omaha, as he calls for $45,000, but says he sees value in the main event, so steps outside his comfort zone to play no limit hold'em. Folded to Tony Hashem, 10-5 in the big blind.
Hashem laying in the weeds for Ben Lamb, but 10-5 off isn't the time to pounce.
No, he does fold. Ben Lamb with ace-king against Charlton with queen 10. The flop, king 8 jack. Top pair, top kicker for Ben Lamb. Welcome to Ben Lamb's World Series. Lamb bets 80,000.
When Lamb bets, it's like dropping chips off a chip cliff.
An open-ended straight draw for Charlton.
Charlton graduated from Nottingham University, often called the Maryland of the UK.
Charlton with a raise to 195,000.
And just like this Maryland grad, Charlton picks a tough spot to semi-bluff. What everyone needs to start realizing is he's Ben Lamb and you're not.
Ben Lamb with the steely, cool eyes makes the call.
In his spare time, Ben does like staring at other people.
Turn card is at 10, and that pairs Charlton, but Lamb's still ahead. He checks this time. Charlton checks.
At least Charlton's semi-bluff earned him a free card.
River card, 5 of hearts, does nothing for Charlton. And they both check. And Lamb shows the pair of kings that will win the pot.
Neil Costa the main event will take down this pot.
And there's the rail.
Happiest rail west of the Mississippi.
Lamb vowed to take better care of himself at the World Series, saying no alcohol. I don't think that applies to his rail. Ben Lamb getting stronger. Back inside the Amazon room, Lon McCarron with Norman Chad and Kara Scott. Day 5 of the main event coming to a close tonight. At the featured table, action has been folded to Jean-Robert Bellande with pocket jacks. He has just under $2 million. He raised to $50,000. Cunningham with king jack offsuit.
And the great Alan Cunningham appears to be a little off here on day 5.
Cunningham with the button. There's the Alan Cunningham we know and love. A re-raise to 130.
A 3-bet, bridled aggression.
Jacob Baisley in the small blind, ace-8 of hearts.
Baisley was a 2-time All-Gulf South Conference basketball player at Division II Christian Brothers University in Memphis. Then he was an assistant coach there for a couple of years before turning to poker.
Known as Baysman 11 online with almost $3 million in online earnings. And with the suited ace, he's going to repop it to $250,000.
That's unbridled aggression like Lon.
And you're sitting how deep?
800.
Strong play by Baisley from the small blind, representing a lot of strength.
But the second shortest stack at this table.
130, you make it 250?
Bellande with the best hand,
Scary.
but maybe Baisley with the best plan.
All right.
Bellande giving up the jacks.
And Alan Cunningham now has got to have second, third, and fourth thoughts about his king-jack offsuit.
Allen looks a little frustrated. He
I'll lay
folds and shows, and Baisley's plan works.
Baisley wins the best kind of chips, uncontested.
I had the hand, Alan.
You had me beat?
I had jacks.
Really?
For a look at why Baisley's play worked, let's check in with bracelet winner Antonio Esfandiari for some pro analysis.
In this hand, Baisley shows us just how powerful it is to be last aggressor. Holding only an ace-8 of hearts, he puts in the 4th bet. If you're the first raiser or the second raiser and now it's raised again, how good do your 2 jacks really look? Baisley gets Jean Robert to fold his 2 jacks, Cunningham mucks the king jack, he scoops a big pot, and the reason why he's able to do that is because he has an ace in his hand. By having one of the blockers, it's less likely that his opponents have an ace-king or pocket aces in their hand. Aggression wins.
I prefer playing passively and losing. You beat the traffic that way.
You've had plenty of practice at that. At one of the 16 outer tables, Ukrainian Anton Makievsky pinning his main event hopes on pocket queens against the ace-queen of Andrew Ferguson.
These players have virtually identical stacks.
Ferguson with a chance for a knockout. Here's the flop, and an ace in the window for Ferguson sends Makievsky to the edge of the edge.
The flop devastates Makievsky.
Turn card now, 6 of diamonds, no help.
We saw Makievsky with 1 foot out the door earlier on day 4. Now both his feet way out the door. Only the last queen in the deck would save Makievsky.
The river card, and there is the queen! The case queen saves Makievsky's main event.
Well, he started with the best hand and he finished with the best hand, but in between it looked bleak. Andy Ferguson now crippled.
You mentioned they began the hand with almost identical stacks. Ferguson left with just 14,000.
Live poker's so rigged.
Well, I don't speak his language, but Anton, I think, is very happy. A river rich with irony. The queen saved the Ukrainian, not the Brit. This was the scene on day 4. Anton Makievsky's all in for his tournament life with ace tray against Ben Lamb's pocket 10s, but Anton flopped trips and held on. If this 21-year-old kid has 9 lives, well, he's already used up 2 of them.
Anton has a mathematics degree, so he knows the simple math. A moment ago, he was 2% to still be standing here.
Back to the secondary featured table. Folded to Dwayne Alexander with pocket 8s for the 31-year-old Texan.
Haven't heard from him in a while. Congenial pro.
47,000 is the raise from Alexander. Folded around to Tony Hashem. Hashem on the Jack Links Beef Jerky hole cam, King 10.
It's King 10 off, Tony. If you want more TV time, we'll send the cameras out to your home.
He's got almost 2 million, but he will sit this hand out to Matt Giannetti on the button. Poker pro living here in Vegas with pocket 10s.
He finished 521st at the 06 main event. Final table to pot limit Omaha event at the 09 World Series.
Born in Massachusetts, lives here in Vegas now, and a re-raise to 130,000. Over to Ben Lamb.
Ben Lamb.
Oh, angrily folds. No chance to play 6-4. So the raise back to Alexander.
Alexander concerned. He had raised an early position, and Giannetti trampled all over that raise.
Alexander with the pocket 8s coming up second best. Makes the call and will be out of position after the flop.
Is that a Longhorns logo on Giannetti's cap?
It is indeed. He attended the University of Texas for a couple of years. Here's the flop. Deuce, Jack 7, Giannetti's 10s. Keep a firm grip on this hand. Alexander checks. Giannetti checks his pocket 10s. Turn card. Queen of spades, no help to Alexander. And he checks it again. And these two continue their shy play.
Alexander showing no signs of strength, but Giannetti still won't pull the trigger.
River card, 6 of clubs.
True river card is the 6 of clubs.
The 8s are second best for Alexander, and he checks it again.
And now in position, Giannetti has got to feel good about his hand. Frankly, I thought he might have thought his pocket 10s were good on the turn.
Oh, he is reaching for some of his chip stack. He started this hand with just under $1 million. He has Alexander covered. And there's a bet of 155,000.
He could get paid off. Giannetti checked the flop and the turn in position. So if I'm Alexander, I might put him on, say, ace-king.
Will make a bet of 155,000.
Alexander giving this some thought and makes the call. And Giannetti confidently turns over his tens.
Alexander and me are not as sharp as Giannetti.
So a pot of over 600,000 goes to Giannetti.
That was the quickest show of cards I've seen.
Is there such a thing as a fast roll?
Giannetti began today with a small stack working towards chip average. You see Sam Barnhart of Little Rock is over $3 million. Daryl Jace has hit some hard times. And Joseph Chung's bid for back-to-back main event final tables is still viable. Back to the featured table. Action on Sebastian Rutenberg. He has the Jack Link's Beef Jerky wild card hand.
If the wild card hand actually involved wild cards, I'd have a chance. I'm great at Suicide Kings and One-Eyed Jacks Wild.
Rutenberg under the gun with a raise to 44,000.
We say under the gun is the new button, so I'm going to say he's getting fancy with ace-5 suited.
Bellande called with ace-jack offsuit.
Surprised Jean Robert is journeying on. He's in early position with a marginal hand against a tough opponent. That's a recipe for disaster.
So the rest of the table has seen the two top stacks here commit themselves, and now they have to be extra careful entering the pot. Visser folds, as does Elder, over to the button, Blake Bond. Ace-jack of diamonds.
That's playable. Come on in. Bond graduated from St. Olaf College in Northfield, Minnesota. I believe they are the Thundering Herd.
Well, the two big stacks from early position are in this hand, so Bond gives up the ace-jack.
Oh, please. I think I can win the main event with most players' discards.
Can you hold that hand on the side? I want to see that. I'm joking.
Bellande joshing with Bolivar Palacios. So heads up Bellande and Rutenberg with the wild card hand. Flop, trade 10 king, 2 spades.
Rutenberg had nearly a $2 million payday when he won the EPT Barcelona event in 2008.
He has chips in hand. And the wild card hand bet 60,000. Bellande picked up a Broadway draw.
Rutenberg could be continuing here with any of those hands, but I'm emotionally committed to ace-5, nut flush draw, so I'll stick with it for one more street. And Jean Robert trying to decide if he's going to stick around with a gut shot.
Jean Robert starting the hand with almost 1.9 million, makes a raise to 150,000.
Bellande with a lot of pep in his step on day 5. Rutenberg has the bigger stack. I don't think he's going anywhere with any of his possible hands.
And he does make the call for 90,000 more. We've got a pot of almost $500,000. Turn card 6 of clubs. Rutenberg checks this time.
A quick check from Rutenberg, but Jean Robert's raise meant he likely would check any of those hands now.
Jean Robert checks as well. River card, deuce of spades.
Could be the nut flush. I think he got there. He got there.
Then he checks.
Okay, maybe he didn't get there.
Bellande.
Jean Robert now could concede, or Jean Robert could push the big bluffing rock up the hill.
Bellande hates to concede, bets 250,000.
250,000.
You know, maybe Rutenberg got there and he's checked the raising line. If Rutenberg knew to check the nuts on the river, then he is a beast. I think he got there. Pop him, pop him, pop him, pop him.
Reaching for chips.
Pop him, pop him, pop him, pop him.
A stack of those green chips worth $500,000.
Pop him.
And there's the pop. A check raised to 925.
He got there, Lon.
Which means you got there.
Or it could be a scintillating check raise bluff with Queen Jack. Either way, Jean Robert is done. He's done.
Bellande would need about half his remaining stack to call.
Oh, he's done.
Bellande does fold. Rutenberg had the ace-5 to win the Jack Link's Beef Jerky wild card hand. Strike up the band.
He got there. I am the wild card hand king of the world.
You are the best 7 for 18 wild card hand picker in the world. Bellande just over 1.4 million, which right now is slightly above the chip average with 151 players left. Ben Lamb is the current chip leader with 4.6 million.
But I'm not getting away from kings.
It's true. David Bach holds pocket kings and flopped a flush draw. German pro Max Heinzelmann playing for his role with pocket aces. Turn card 6 of hearts, and the lookalike of animated Max Rolfels is still ahead.
Heinzelmann has bled chips today. He's in good position to double up. He has to fade a king or any diamond.
The river card is the tray of diamonds, and the flush for Bach will send Max Heinzelmann to the rail, crushed like a can of cheap Hefeweizen.
He takes it well, like he was free rolling, which he was, courtesy of Sean Deeb.
Almost 55,000 to Max Heinzelman, and Bach is back chip leader once again, cresting the 5 million chip mark with just 150 players remaining in the main event. American poker superstar Jason Mercier upped his bracelet count to 2 by taking down the six-handed $5,000 pot limit Omaha event and a first place prize of over $600,000. With both of his bracelets in PLO, Mercier is establishing himself as one of the best pot limit Omaha players in the world.
You know, it just feels amazing, feels good just to close the job.
Jason is now on a special list of players who have won a couple of quick bracelets, the record close to unbeatable, held by Jeff Madsen, who took down his second bracelet in 06 at the age of 21 years, 41 days, the year he won the Player of the Year honors. But Mercier, currently the youngest player right now to hold 2 World Series bracelets. Action at this feature table on 5-time bracelet winner Alan Cunningham after Ruben Visser raised it to $45,000 with ace-king. Alan calls with ace-queen.
Visser was born in 1989, and to celebrate that, he wears this sweatshirt every day.
Here's the flop. It is 10 ace-jack, pair of aces for each. Visser's kicker makes him the heavy favorite. A Broadway draw for both players. Cunningham checks.
Just think if everyone did what Visser did, no one would ever ask, how old are you? And we'd all be a lot better at math.
They both check.
I think Visser was supposed to bet there.
Turn card is a queen and an ace-high straight for Visser. Allen caught aces up.
Hard to believe, but today it seems like Alan Cunningham folds when he should raise and bets when he should check.
Something is wrong with the universe. He does bet $55,000.
Visser with an international business administration degree from the University of Rotterdam.
Did you mention he was born in 1989? He makes the call. The river card. 4 of diamonds, not what Cunningham needed.
Well, if I were Visser, I would have raised on the turn. Try to get value when you have the nuts.
Cunningham.
I call. How'd you know how much I was going to bet? 80,000. Do I have to bet that whole amount now?
Cunningham wanted
to
bet.
He stacks 80,000 up in his hand, and he says call before he releases the chips.
Well, I went forward, and he said I call.
He said call before he
releases the chips. But we don't know. I mean, people often, you never know how much they're going to bet exactly. Huh?
You're not obligated.
But I have to bet something. Well, I don't even have to do that.
You can't pull chips back after you push them forward.
Well, you don't know how many
What are you talking about? Of course, you can't go like this.
He
didn't do that, though. He pushed them all like this. He hasn't done anything. He went like this. He hasn't even released his chips yet.
I agree with him. Like,
he has to have a choice of that. I should be honest with you, he could still say 1 million.
yeah, you can say whatever, but you got him at the minimum.
I'm not going to do that with them nuts.
Well, Visser was quick on the trigger. He called before Allen finished his action.
You insta-called me.
Allen is obligated to bet at least $20,000, the amount of the big blind.
Let's put in 40 each.
And Visser is obligated to call $40,000.
Yeah. I've sprayed, obviously.
I say.
Now they can showdown, and Allen can hand over the chips to Visser.
That's stupid. I suck.
I gave you an extra 20.
Yeah. No, you didn't do anything wrong. I'm just an idiot.
Well, it looked like Allen was going to bet 80,000, so he saved some chips because of Visser's mistake.
Yeah.
You were hoping you didn't say 1 million with the flush, right?
I had ace of diamonds.
I understand, but once you said you called no matter what.
What?
Bet 40 then.
Maybe I had a winner.
Allen takes a hit. He's down to about half the chip average at the outer tables of the Amazon room. Elia Lesra all in with 2 jacks. Andre Patachuk hopes his pocket nines can improve to score the knockout.
With that look from Ellie, the dealer better not put out a 9.
Well, he puts out a jack, a set for Elia Lesra. Straight flush draw for Patachuk. And not over yet. Turn card. Another 10. Ellie improves to jack's full.
Queen of diamonds, man, right?
With the Queen of Diamonds. It's good TV. I'm going to wait for Matthew in the parking lot.
Only a straight flush knocks out Alezra.
The river card does not give Andre the straight flush, and so Elia Lesra will double up to $779,000.
Elia Lesra is happy it wasn't good TV. Meanwhile, the 21-year-old Russian just lost more than a quarter of his chip stack.
Patachuk below $1 million. Ellie's only other main event cash came in 2004, and he can't light up to celebrate just yet, but Ellie Alezra and his cigar will hang around a little longer.
All right, Matthew. We are friends now.
Just 145 players remain as day 5 is about to wrap up here at the Rio. 3 women still holding chips in this main event. Claudia Crawford with just over $2 million, Erica Motino with $932,000, and Amanda Musumeci sitting with $788,000. Claudia Crawford in a hand right now just re-popped the action to $90,000 with just King 5. She's jousting with Payus Hines, the original raiser, holding Ace 9.
Claudia's fiance is poker pro Gabe Costner. He finished 35th in last year's main event. Her goal is to finish higher than him and never let him forget it.
Hines does not back down, 4-betting to $241,000.
That 4-bet from Hines should shut down Claudia's business pre-flop.
Each taking measure of the other.
Make it 400.
Crawford now with a re-raise to $400,000.
Wow. There's bridled aggression and there's unbridled aggression, Lon. We are now in very unbridled territory.
This poker hand is a contest of wills and chip riffling also.
This is not your kitchen table poker game. It's been 5-bet and neither player has much of a hand. Neither one will ever get a home game invite from me. They're too tough.
Hines has been a chip leader in this main event. He is like a backboard in tennis, though. He just keeps on coming.
Now, he's not done. These aren't calling chips he's taken out. You want unbridled, he says? I'll give you unbridled. Just chewing gum, putting together a 6-bet with Ace 9 off.
He makes it $890,000. Crawford kicks it in. Payus Hines shows his 9.
You know he's from Germany?
You don't want to see what I had.
No, I'm just saying, I know.
I knew he was full of
No, I'm saying he's from.
I knew he was full of
Give both of them credit. Each read the other is weak. Hines with just a little more poker guts there.
I knew what you were doing. I just didn't have the balls.
Yeah, I figured you know what I mean,
I know what you're doing.
Just
when they show it on TV, you'll say, damn, she knew what I was doing.
Yeah.
Crawford has to walk off some of that steam. Payus Hines, once again the chip leader here with over $4.7 million.
King 5 also. I knew he was full of I knew he was full of
Come on.
But I 5-bet him, and he had the nerve to 6-bet me. If he's going to 6-bet me,
like a piece of tin foil.
I 5-bet him. If he had the nerve to 6-bet me, then he wins the pot. Sorry.
Costner trying to calm down his fiance.
Got an all-in and a call on
Sorry, you
324.
can bleep that out.
With those poker chops, I'm sure we'll see a little more of Claudia Crawford. Back to the secondary table. Matt Giannetti sitting here in seat 5, one of the big gainers on day 5. He started with just $114,000, now up to almost $1.3 million. That's more than a 1,000% increase to his stack, second only to Pear Lind. Mars Callahan also has impressed, running his stack up to over $1.5 million.
I'm with Mars Callahan from here till Oscar night.
Action on Giannetti on the Jack Link's Beef Jerky Pocket Cam, 2 9s.
He was an engineering student at the University of Texas, dropped out after 2 years to pursue poker.
Giannetti raises to $45,000. Ben Lamb now on the button. Jack 10 off.
Lamb, I believe, dropped out of second grade to play Pogs, but his parents talked some sense into him.
He has almost 4.6 million chips. The chip leader at this table, one of the top stacks in the room. Ben Lamb getting to work, a re-raise to 135.
I've said it before and I'll say it again, Lon. Seriously, these people have got to stop dropping out of college. Get your education, get your degree, then get yourself a bracelet if you're good enough.
Feldman folds a suited ace. Alexander gives up his big blind. So the re-raise back to Giannetti and his pocket 9s.
I'm sure Giannetti not too comfortable playing the big stack and playing Ben Lamb out of position.
But Giannetti does call for 90,000 more, and Ben Lamb will now try to outplay or outdraw Giannetti and add to his big stack. Here's the flop. Trade deuce 5. Giannetti still good.
Safe flop for pocket 9s.
He does check. They both check.
Giannetti cautious out of position.
turn card. Queen of diamonds. The nines hold up so far. Giannetti checks again.
Giannetti knows Ben Lamb can bust him, so he's continuing to tread softly in the hand.
Ben Lamb has been known to bet in these situations.
And that he will do.
Ben Lamb working with that huge stack. That's 160,000.
Lamb now using that huge stack and position to try to drive Giannetti out.
Giannetti out of position, but has the lead.
If Giannetti calls, he must figure he has the best hand.
And he does call, and he does have the best hand. Ben Lamb wondering what he can do on the river. The river does not hit Lamb. Giannetti checks again.
Giannetti very cautious the whole hand, and by playing passively, Giannetti allows Lamb to drive the action and continue to put himself in an awkward position.
Ben Lamb now makes it 275,000 worth of awkward.
Boy, Matt hates that king. He hates that king. Lamb might have had ace-king and got lucky, and maybe he's heard that Ben Lamb not only plays good, but runs good of late.
So sick you got that conversation going right before the hand started. I have no idea what's going on.
I think Giannetti was pretty sure he was ahead on the turn, not quite as sure anymore on the river.
Give me one more second.
Doesn't want to call, doesn't want to fold.
Giannetti's certainly concerned about the 2 over cards on the board. He would need about 30% of his remaining stack to make the call. But call he does, and Giannetti sniffs out the bluff.
Matt will make the call. Showdown, please.
And Matt Giannetti cracks the Ben Lamb code. That was a stressful exercise.
Giannetti with a gutsy call, adding to his ever-growing chip stack.
Yeah, what a day for Matt Giannetti.
From a day 5 starting stack of 114,000, Giannetti now boasting 1.9 million chips. Ben Lamb gives up a few, but in the big picture, another fine day at the main event for the man they call Benba. And from nowhere, Matt Giannetti will be a day 6 force. Survive and advance can have many different meanings. Wow! For Anton Makievsky, it meant hitting a one-outer. For Jean-Robert Bellande, it meant his usual tricks.
It's called positive reinforcement. You ever heard of Pavlov's theory?
And for Matt Giannetti, it meant a 16-fold increase to his stack. It's becoming clear this is anyone's main event.
Some people are here because they got some good hands. That's how I got here.
For Norman, Chad, and Kara Scott, I'm Lon McCarran. This has been a presentation of ESPN, the worldwide leader in sports.